go. I just have to shout at people, and then we don't
Wow.
start.
French mind
There we go.
Look at
tabletop
this.
games.
Yeah.
This
Quiet on
production
set.
value, damn it,
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
it's amazing.
Welcome to a
Cacophony of voices.
But don't tell me Halldamir cares if he starts mid-sentence.
You know, Jonas used to say, we on our channel don't do any production value because we're a channel that just tries to make it seem like we're just friends having fun.
Ew.
We're trying to hit that friends having fun demographic. And so
Yeah, we're trying to play that.
at the
friend
meeting,
thing, you know?
we just
That's
remember,
why-
like at the meeting, we try to get an impression that we don't try.
This is why we never show the studio that we all meet up in.
As a disclaimer, actually, I don't like any of you.
Yeah.
Also, I tried video editing once, and by video editing, I mean taking two videos and making them into one video, and I did not succeed.
Oh no.
How
So,
can that be?
I know,
It
right?
seems like a shitty software if you can't just like drag and drop a piece of it.
Is it
No.
Windows Movie Maker?
I don't know what couldn't even find the software to use.
Man, I
See?
tried making that. Like I made.
As a video editor, I could tell you if it's an easy job, just ask me, I'll do it. And secondly, yeah, it's either convenience or precision. There is no way you can get both.
Oh, no. I will never ask you because I figured out how difficult that is, and that would just be
You never want to put that on anyone.
No.
I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy.
Now I feel targeted about all the macros.
I love your macros. It's the only ones I can figure out.
You
Then
know?
Sarah
Yeah.
hits me with some fancy shit, and I have to put stuff in, and I'm like, okay, so I put it in, and it's
You
like,
don't have to put anything in.
and then there's
Then it
like
pops
this
up and it's like,
other
what's the
thing,
square root of pi? And you're like,
just bonuses,
and then, you know,
well,
you have like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by if done, what's value question mark? And you're like,
When you
zero? Maybe?
Pay no attention to. Don't go.
Do I
just don't-
have a
just don't
soul?
peek
And then
behind
you're
the
like,
curtain.
I don't feel comfortable answering that without having a complex
Just
discussion.
watch the show, Medikai, and don't peek behind the curtain.
Yeah,
It's
I was gonna say,
everything- Yeah.
Sarah and I believe we share the easier you make the macro to use, the more complex
Just don't
it gets.
look.
Yeah, don't look. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't
I mean,
comprehend.
just
at some
looking
point.
at your tokens.
It's a
Comparison.
royal
I
mess.
think I have many, and then you look at them, and this is like, and Halldamir is like,
You know,
wow.
You know, when I was young, we would just go and look at Pathfinder SRD and like make a build for a character. We wouldn't actually like engineer them.
Is everyone here except for Halldamir?
I think so.
Yes.
Also, at some point, I need to show you guys the macro I use to import stat blocks as tokens. That's become a monster at this point, and I love it.
I found a
yeah,
problem
I
with the
really
one you
wanna
gave
steal
me.
that one.
It doesn't make free action things. It just ignores those.
Yeah, if something doesn't
But
work,
I was gonna fix it, and then I looked at it and I was like, I'll
No.
just deal with that.
No.
I'll just deal with that. That's,
Just deal with it on a
I'm not
case-by-case
touching that.
basis.
that is, yeah.
if something is not working, just tell me what in a text message, and I'll see if it fixes. Also, send me that macro you currently have because I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I'll get to
All
it at some
right,
point.
but we're doing a thing here.
Yeah.
I think. Who wants to do the recap from last time?
Oh,
I
I
did
did it last time. Did you?
What? Oh, no, I didn't have that.
Guys, we agreed to be friends, remember?
I'm so confused. No, you filled
Yeah.
me in when I was missing, right?
That's it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you did. You did. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna confess that I have not finished the video, so
It's fine.
I heard from someone that there was killing fish and sharks.
Yeah. Medikai, you're up.
I wonder who told you that.
I-
I
little bit.
wonder who tried to fill you in so that you would watch the video.
Let's find out, Manica.
Yes. Last time we started by getting a bunch. We had gotten a bunch of cool stuff from the Vesk, and we had gone underwater to fight while recovering some horrible death missiles that turn the local animals into like undead fish that are actually, luckily for us, pretty stupid. We found out later. But we basically went through a bunch of challenges trying to get these missiles. XK ended up being at the heart of most of them because he doesn't breathe. He isn't crushed by pressure. He's good at athletics, and it's just a murder beast. So that was pretty good. It's good to have a robot when you're underwater, as it turns out.
And immune to the radiation coming from the missile.
Oh yeah,
as well.
immune to radiation too. He can't turn undead. So that's pretty good. It occurs to me that the turn undead is actually a double-meaning word, but yeah, we fought some electric eels. We fought some undead fish, some like angry mind-controlling slime, and in the end we came up with some missiles, which we gave 2 of to the Vesk and 3 of to the Resistance. Then we had a chat with the Resistance where we tried to get them to please just work with us. And they said, okay, but you got to prove that you can do miracles, basically, because otherwise we're not going to believe you. And we tried telling them that, hey, we're actually like the people who were exiled all those years ago, and we come back to change things. And they were very unimpressed. Because words don't mean anything to them. They want to see actions. So we discussed how to do actions. We haven't really found out yet, but there are other people who want our actions to be done, and that's the Gorons. Now that we're released, we can fly. I believe we can leave, and I think that's what we got to do. Go, leave, and see if we can show the Gorons the light of the sun.
Yeah, one last thing. The Resistance did say, all right, you want us to wait? We'll wait. But Macantha, they're the leader of the Resistance cell here in the city, did basically, not in so many words, but say that it'll be difficult to hold back his people. You know, they're determined. They've now got maybe something of a plan that can work. But if you need more time, he'll get it to you as much as he can anyways.
Mhm.
So you've maybe not proven yourself to the point where they will go into the abyss with you because you are the greatest heroes of all time, but you've done a good thing for them. Those missiles are a treasure, to say the least.
Mhm. Yes, very valuable. I also, Sacriel, though, personally could not buy a burger if he needed one. So
What an affront.
he has been emptying his pockets, and also he has pockets.
Mhm.
You're loyal knight of the empire and all that.
That's her pick.
I still have some money. It's a good thing I haven't talked to
Yeah.
Halldamir, because then he would probably gotten the rest. So
There's a big demand. At least the Viscarium has a very big open carry law. You can just arm yourself, citizen.
So
It's true.
Some quick housekeeping then. Everyone's taken their share of money.
Yo,
Yes.
I will do that right now.
more than my share of money. Also,
Just
your
so I
share,
can.
more.
963.
963 each done.
All right. It's gonna go away. I have
Yeah,
it in
kill
text
it.
here anyway, so
he's purging it.
we're broke technically, party-wise.
Mind you.
Our bank is very much not happy with us.
But our hearts are strong as
yeah.
ever.
Yes.
I've been thinking of how to address the Macantha situation.
Sounds like a good guy.
Yeah, you know what? I believe he is a good person. He's just been in a war zone for 30 years. That'll make anyone a bit of a dick.
Everything be destroyed. We've feared it from a distance, but we still had a better night. And his house, his home, is now crashed on the side of this rock in the horrible ocean, and they have no power. They have no power.
Yeah.
As far as you can tell, Macantha isn't actually that old. He probably doesn't actually know any other world.
He romanticizes.
This is all he knows.
But that means that we can tell him, like, he can learn stories of how it used to be, and then
Who is
romanticize
this guy
it.
again?
Inspires. He's the leader of the resistance here.
Oh.
Yeah. No, there's like 2 different resistance factions, and one of them is more tactical, and the other one just wants to do something. He's in charge of the one that wants to just.
The innkeeper.
No,
not that guy.
That guy is like a sympathizer and recruiter.
Yeah, the Deepborn
I have no
Resistance you
intelligence at all.
haven't actually met yet, other than the recruiter, as Menekai calls him.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and even within the Floatborn, there was like Macanther's group, but also there was another group that approached Zachariel and was like, "Hey, these guys are going to do something, and we don't think they should."
Quick stop them.
Oh, right. I remember that.
Then you'll get my respect. Yes. Have they got any answer?
Yeah.
Actually, have we heard back?
Yeah, did
from
they ever approach us? Again, being like, "Good job."
I don't know.
No, those messengers were sent by the innkeeper. They presumably delivered a message from the Deepborn Resistance.
Yes, Deepborn Resistance. They have plans.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm sure that I'll make sure to send him like an anonymous card, basically that says like, here is payment. I hope you have received the payment for my tab or something like that. And then like, I might be back later. So he seems like a really smart guy. He'll get it. Yeah, he didn't appreciate me coming and asking questions. At least I'll stay my ass away. It's not like yeah. And probably tell Macanther to discreetly spread the news that there are people here now, and we're working on it. Because
Yeah, I would like to try one more thing with him before we leave.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, we had like 3 days extra time before we basically had to leave to get back on the road towards Endeavor.
Got a little bit of time depending on how the trip there goes, although there isn't nearly as much randomness in normal space as there's in the drift.
Yeah. I would like to, and I think actually Ezra will ask for Leia's help with this. There's 2 things I'd like to do. So actually, I'll do it in character. So he approaches Lorelia with a bit of a grim look on his face, and you see that he's holding one of the like an old data pad that's not his. And says, Lorelia, if you're not too busy, could I trouble you for some assistance?
Of course, you can trouble me whenever you want. I'm here to help. She kind of she kind of looks at what you're holding and says, trying to get something out of that, I assume.
That's been bothering me that I couldn't quite understand what happened on that. As we're walking down the hallways, I wanted to revisit the old Kasathan data logs that we found on our first trip together. I wondered if something might be more obvious with all the context that we've looked at, and I don't think that. I'm starting to think that the ship may not have been wrecked because of that drift storm, that it was found nearby. That's what I assumed, at least, at first. I think it may have been subject to the battery exploding or something similar to it.
Yeah.
But I was also wanting to try and salvage it and some of the parts that you found from the crashed fleet. See if we could find some short-range comm units, or perhaps even a way to communicate through the drift. Macanther, he's a tough one to talk to, but I believe that if we are patient and try hard to assist them, that I think he can be brought on side. And one way to do that might be giving them a way of communicating. So I thought maybe we could look through the ship and see if we can find something, and also investigate the damage spots, if they look like the fleet that you found.
Right, yes. I believe that a thorough inspection while we're waiting here, it'll be fine to do. And about Mercanther, well, she thinks for a moment. He seems to be a man that has... His trust is very hard to pull from him. all he has ever known is conflict.
Yes,
But
it
I'm
must be
sure.
earned.
Yes, I am sure that we will somehow get through.
I want to invite him and potentially some of his allies to come to Endeavor with us. Not everyone, but I think that maybe seeing what we've done there might inspire him to action and perhaps give him the trust that we are actually trying to help the entire system. Not to mention the opportunity of getting some refugees away from the city must assist both them and those who return by simply not having to share the resources as much.
You mean like well, how would I phrase this? You would bring one of his to report on our actions. The words that we gave him, well, without proof, is no way to verify.
I'd like to invite him, if he trusts his number 2 enough and has agreed to wait a month, perhaps he may even come himself.
She sighs and says, "No, I don't think Mercantor himself would leave his, well, you could see how hard he was straining to even give us the time. But taking 1 or 2 of his people, perhaps. There's no harm in asking."
We've done it well. Slazlak hopefully has accomplished the mission he was set out to do, and the work that me and Sobok did. We've got what we need to accomplish the Goran's wish of bringing back the sun, but it's not going to be enough to clear up their entire atmosphere. However, what might do it is the ship that Sacriel managed to get rumors about. The Gorans could, if made aware of this, could be very motivated to learn from the Resistance, help fight off Vesk, and retrieve the ship that could save their planet. I think that if spun this way and people being brought together, they could really do something great, even without us. Just the right people just need to meet each other.
After such a long time, giving them hope and an opportunity, it is a good idea.
We can't possibly do this on our own, and we need to stop trying to. We need to get people to meet each other.
Yes, it is hard to take back a system with, well, how little of
5
us there
people
are.
in an ambulance.
She chuckles and says, yes, 5 people and an ambulance. Now, let us get to this
salvage,
inspection. Yes.
They've only got a few days to get back to Mercanther and give them time to find refugees.
Right. So, just to recap, you want me to look at the salvage of the ship of the like the wreckages we took in when we met the other Vesk for the second time, and correlate that to like the first the first one we met.
No, the I can't remember the name of it. The one that we put in our cargo unit in like session 1, and we haven't done anything with.
Yeah, the one.
That one.
Yeah.
The Struggle
Okay.
Scholar. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then also that and everything else we found. I want to try and see if we can salvage some comm units and maybe even a drift communicator.
Sure. Sheep, how does that sound to you?
What specific question do you want answered?
It's not a question, it's more of a physical thing we want to get.
Well, there's 2 things. There's can we basically procure or like physically make from salvage communications technology, and then also I would like to examine the damage done to that ship and see, was this done by the battery, which I think we could determine by comparing to the like the recorded footage we have and the scrap we have of the incident that we know was caused by the battery exploding.
What do you want to produce?
Radios and like a communication technology that would have been on the ship.
I suppose that's possible. So you want to do that and then also compare the damage on the ship with what you've seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, that's two different things. The first one sounds like it would be a longer-term engineering project.
Okay.
Yeah, sure
Looking
does.
at the skill, engineering would be craft tech item, most likely. That is the crafting rules. You will have to spend some UPB, the price of which I will look at in a moment. And the time. Normally has a base time of 4 hours, so it's not a huge project. So 4 hours seems about right.
All right. And can we use the salvage to offset the total cost a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. The salvage is basically UPBs. And if any UPBs you get are pretty much usable salvage. Using the ship itself, the remains so much. There might be some bits that are useful, but not too many. I'd say you're looking at like a project worth 200 gold, or 200 credits rather, with half of which you can scavenge from the ship.
All right, I'll put in the 100 myself. The extra we need. That's I have
put in 50. I'll split the other 50 with you.
All right. And then we need to do. Do we need to check sheep, or is this just a?
It's an engineering check.
Okay.
Okay. How's your engineering skill?
Fairly good.
Fairly good. Fairly good. I have 8 plus my intelligence. Hang on 1 second. I have plus 10.
13. So yeah, you can assist me in it.
Yeah, I automatically assist you.
All right.
Take plus 2.
Actually, look at this. What exactly do you want this community to be able to do?
I think like priority, it would be great if we could give him basically a drift communication, and if we can get something on top of that, like 5 or 6, just like regular radios that they could use if need be among their own operation to actually chat with each other.
Okay, I just found the prices. For a normal radio, that costs 7 credits. You can basically build as many as you want from the wreckage. Something that can communicate within a system, which would be below drift communication, that costs 4,000 credits.
Okay.
So for a drift communication device, I think we are sort of in between system-wide and unlimited. Unlimited is like high tech, like even IMRES isn't quite there yet.
Well, then what I would like to do is just try and search the ship for the one that it had and take it and see if it can be fixed.
That's plausible.
Yeah.
Because we don't use that ship for anything. Might as well.
No. It's dead in the water. Might as well take what we can get out of it.
Yeah, looking at the prices here, I think you can salvage the one from the ship, but the ship parts are mostly damaged. It's a huge wreck. The drift storm has wreaked havoc. Let's say that's 2,000 credits to repair. That's more in line in what the book suggests for the prices.
Okay.
I don't think we can afford that, but if we can at least give him the base frame of it, so he can be like, hey, look, if you fix this.
I have 1k credits.
I have 1. I can I don't really
like if we want to spend them on that. I know that there's also been other things to spend them on, but like depending on how important it is.
It's a pretty big gesture to say like, hey, your crew now actually has communication with the rest of the system. I have just under 1,500, and this is kind of in my project, so I can fund it mostly myself.
They'll spend it right. Like,
how about Sarah and I put in 1,000 each, and that'll be fine. I'm fine with that. I have like I don't really have anything insights to get, and I think this is a good idea.
I'll probably end up posting my money to Halldamir, so.
Yeah.
Because Spear is, like I don't know how much, so.
380.
Yeah, So we'll fund that sheep. Right, check.
Okay.
Let's do the check.
I really hope we don't screw it up.
Actually, sheep. What rank level is that communicator? If it even gives one.
It does. It is. Where did the table go? It would be 6.
Okay, so one higher. So I can't just say that I can make it. So I need to make a check. All right. Let's roll it and see.
Take a +10 or +2, I guess.
+2. Wait, can you?
No, I can't. I can't use my skill expertise die. Next
That's
level,
okay.
I can do that.
34.
Yeah, that's no issue. I'm not even gonna check what the DC is.
All right
He
then.
blows on it. There was a little bit of dust, and he just works perfectly. Just like
Lorelia pockets Azrael's
After-
1,000 credits.
Yeah, I'm like.
after Israel has been like clicking on it, Lorelia's like, please, you need to set the reset button and then turn it on and off again.
Yeah,
And then
turn
turns
it on.
around and says, "Oh man, this requires so much work." Like the merchant in her, like, I'm gonna need like 1,000 UPBs to fix this.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Whatever it takes.
well, you
Oh.
have a system. Yeah, you can give that to MacArthur now.
Here we go.
And now for the question that we were asking, Sheep. Will I make a separate check for that?
Yes.
Depends on what the check is actually.
I think it would be physical science. That makes the most sense. You're doing like an analysis.
Hold on a second, I have stuff for that. Is it related to physics?
Yes.
Okay, I have a -5 to knowledge DCs about physics because I am really good at that as a scholar. So I will.
Nice. Let me see if I can assist you. Physical science, no bonuses. Nope.
That's fine.
Got nothing.
I'll just add. Yeah, I'll just add the 5 to this check, so you don't have to think. Physical, yeah, Sheep.
Yes.
Okay. 20 with the 5 included.
You're fairly certain that the battery didn't explode on the Struggle Scholar. The damage is far too minute for that. Most of the damage, in fact, does seem like it came from 2 things. One being the drift storm that you also experienced, taking out many of the electronics. And 2, a boarding attempt by a different ship. A successful one at that.
That's consistent with.
Lines up with what we know, yeah. Okay. Well, it's nice to strike off something that was plausible, at least.
Seems like that's most likely the time when the swarm got hold of the ship.
Yeah.
I hold of the battery.
Yeah, but yeah, after the 4 hours, Lorelia will probably a bit greased and a bit dirty from working on salvage all the time, but she will hand you the communicator and nod and say, it should work for what you have use of it for.
He looks at it in his hands and says, "Thank you, Lorelia. I couldn't have done this without you. I think this will go a long way to accomplishing our goals."
She bows and says, I wish you luck in your talk with him.
Yeah. Not really looking forward to it. But what you're going to do.
And she will hand you something because she remembers the last time we tried to go back and forth that we got caught a bit, and she has something for it. She will give you one of her Shadow Blend serums to use if you need to, well, get yourself a little bit hidden. So she will hand you that alongside the communicator. And what that does is you get a +2 insight bonus to stealth checks while you have concealment from dim light or darkness. And darkness provides you concealment, but not total concealment against dark vision, and that lasts for 10 minutes. So
nice.
Use that on your way as long as you keep to the shadows, and you'll be harder to see.
Yeah, this is wonderful. Thank you. I may, I'll see if I can get away with it. But
see what you can do.
If nothing else, if I have to run and hide, then that's the time.
Yeah, she'll bow again and say, always here to help. And we'll kind of shoo you away because she needs to clean up a bit.
Clean up. Yep.
You don't have to do the cleaning right away.
Oh, she hates it. She imagine being an
always
engineer
leave-
but hating like dirt. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and then Asriel would like to. He knows where the new warehouse is. He'd like to head over there. Trying to give them as much time as possible before we leave.
You certainly can. Give me a soft check.
Oh God! Every time.
Don't fuck up. No.
Yeah, that's my fucking theme song. Don't fuck up. Don't fuck up. 27.
Yeah, as you walk that direction, you do luckily notice and manage to avoid a Vesk patrol currently in the area of the city.
This is why I go alone.
Oh yeah, we would have walked right into it.
Yeah, I'll duck around the various buildings. Never actually walking in the street. Just like alleyways and rooftops. Taking longer than necessary, but get to get to their place.
It does appear that they haven't moved yet, and you can find Macantha and his handful of people without too much problems. They still seem to be in the preparation phase as you sort of reach the warehouse past the guards that sort of wave you through. You've been here before. You can hear rather vigorous discussions. While you can't make out the exact words, it does sound like tactical things, like, you know, someone wants to move right now, but someone else says, no, we should wait. Those kinds of discussions.
Can appreciate the city maps that are no doubt all over a table. Markings and a dagger somewhere in them.
Oh yeah, not just city maps that you can see, even like planetary scale.
Nice. Yeah, I'll ask whoever to point me towards Macantha, or ask them to let him know that I have arrived to speak with him briefly.
It takes only a minute or so before he himself comes over, gives Asriel a curt nod before looking at him inquisitively, not really saying anything.
I take the bag, I guess I got like a backpack or something on me, and put it on the table, saying nothing, and then undo the zips, revealing a perfectly conditioned drift communicator, and then several radios and like a charging station for them, kind of thing. Just a whole setup.
The big communication device, the drift capable one, would have probably been quite a slog for Asriel to carry around. Not impossible, but we're talking about like 20 bulk here, like washing machine sized.
Jeez. Okay.
XK could have brought it somewhere nearby.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not an amount of bulk that seems impossible for Asriel to carry around with some difficulty.
Yeah.
Your check was high enough. Let's not worry about it.
So he's like tired, especially from everything else we've been doing today, and so instead of the backpack, just clang, giant freaking box. He sort of like takes whatever fabric or bubble wrap was used to protect it and reveals the drift communicator.
Macantha does look at it for quite a while before turning back to Asriel, saying, "That is very useful, though I will have to admit we so far didn't see the need for drift communication. But if you can in fact do what you're promising to do, external help and being able to talk to others would be an incredible boon."
He gestures to the radios and everything else, and said, if nothing else, those should come in useful for immediate time being. And though I would suggest only using them in emergencies, you value action, and I meant every word I said. So this is for you. I hope you use it well.
He nods. And you are leaving then?
My ship will be leaving in 3 days' time. I have another proposal for you. We're going to be heading back to another planet that we've been assisting. You value action. I want to show it to you. I want to show you what we've been doing there, and in return, perhaps get you some more fighters.
He frowns contemplatively.
In addition to that, sorry, go ahead.
What planet are we talking about? What fighters? How many?
The first planet that we went to before we came here, Endeavor, as much as we empathized with your struggles and the others that we're aware of, the threat of a swarm infesting an entire planet was something that needed to be dealt with first before the scale became impossible to deal with. We've done that. But the local species of Gorans have misunderstood some of our actions, and we've been engaging in other matters to help them recover their atmosphere. The planet is not doing well. However, I believe that the real answer to their problems is the ship that I told you about, the one that's currently underwater. They also hate the Vesk. So the opportunity to fight Vesk here and recover a ship that could save their planet, I don't think it's impossible to sell any potential fighters on that one. But they'll need training. The kind of sophistication and organization that you have.
He lets out a short laugh at that. The offer is appreciated, but I think you've gotten the wrong impression of us in general. Perhaps we are some sort of soldier, but we too wish we had more training. Your offer of bringing more fighters, more who hate the Vesk, who are in fact easy to hate, is appreciated. However, I do not think it solves our situation. No amount of fighters will be able to stop that ship in orbit.
I'm working on that too, but there's a lot of things to handle all at once. You can't address one thing before even starting to think about the next one.
I understand.
Regardless, my ship will be leaving in 3 days. We've secured our exit from the planet through our dealings with that horrible general. So, if you have... And he sort of raises his voice and looks around a little bit, so deliberately trying to get all of their attention. So, you have friends and family, non-combatants, people just trying to live here. They might have a chance off this world. Our ship has many mobile medical facilities. It's equipped to handle hundreds of people. It's not going to be a solution for everyone, but the weakest of you, the ones that need protecting, but well, the offer is open. They could perhaps try and resettle on Endeavor. Currently, there is no Vesk presence there, though I can't guarantee that won't change. And the lifestyle would be difficult. Alternatively, perhaps we could try and set up some refugee program in the Pact Worlds. I have experience with that as well.
We've tried that. Transportation off the planet is difficult, yes, and your offer is appreciated. But finding a new home is... He sort of shakes his head. There are other places that could suit our needs. barely, but they would never become home. You're asking people here if they want to leave. You're asking those most determined to stay.
I'm not asking you personally. I'm saying you must know people who can't or don't want to fight, who have children to look after, who are crippled or just trying to survive. Those people, the ones that we're trying to protect, they end up being a weakness to us that the Vest can exploit. If I can take them away, then each of you who are fighting for your home don't have someone vulnerable to keep an eye on. If nothing else, they'd be welcome aboard our ship. That must be better than living in occupation here.
He frowns. If the choice is between being home and being in safety, I am honestly unsure how most people would pick. I can attempt to spread the word, see if anyone would like to take up your offer, but I do not expect them to prefer living aboard a spaceship with no real place to call home, preferable over what they're experiencing here. Besides, the people who live here are who we actually protect. We do not just sit in this dusty warehouse all day long plotting about the Vest's demise. We do more than that. To imply that our families here are in terrible pain or otherwise is a disservice to our work.
God damn it, Mercanther, you have 5 cities squished into 2. Maybe it's not your personal friends and family, but there are people struggling here. And I hope that you would understand me well enough now to know that any kind of resettlement is temporary, because I'm trying to help you reclaim your home.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Okay. I will apply my envoy dice. Any bonuses from the gifts and
the gifts were pretty convincing. You can take +2.
Thank you. Oh, come on. 23.
He pauses, a bit taken aback at the outburst. You can see some of his people around sort of shuffling their hands, moving to where they may or may not have weapons. Before he says, I understand. Do you think the Vesk will let you take any larger amount of people off this city? It is one thing to smuggle a family or two aboard, but if you want to be fair to offer the same opportunity to all who might need it, I suspect the Vesk would get involved.
Just do what we can. I don't think it would be... I think it would be pushing it too much to make it public, this General Norbeck. He's corrupt enough that he's making backroom deals with us. I think he would turn the other way if it was subtle. Perhaps only smuggling people in during the nighttime. You're better at this than I am, but the offer is there for as much as we can get away with. I'll leave it to you to determine how best to do that. And again, like you say, people might not want to leave.
He nods. It is a thin line to walk what we do here, between protecting our people and not antagonizing the Vesk too much. This is another of those situations, but you do have a point. I can spread the message, I can try to get those who really need it, perhaps those who really want it, towards you, without alerting the Vesk, but there's a lot of risk involved here.
Here, take this. Say he goes through his pockets and finds the Shadowbind serum. It's not enough for everyone, but someone might need it. Whatever you determine the most risky move would be. You can use it on that.
He nods. You're leaving in 3 days?
That's the absolute longest I can stretch it to.
And expect people in 2 nights.
Thank you. And about a couple fighters to help potentially train Goran recruits.
As much as I would like to, I don't think any of my fighters would want to leave.
You've agreed to hold up operations for me for a month already, which I appreciate. But that must mean you have a couple people to spare, if nothing else, for a meeting.
Give me another diplomacy check. A -2.
Okay. -2 is included. Envoy dice. 21.
He frowns again, this time a deeper frown. Perhaps one of my people would agree to come with you, but as I've said, we are not trained soldiers. What we could train them, we've learned through experience. It is unique to our situation here. It may help or it may not.
I'll take experience over education any day. And you've been here for 30 years, and you're still here. That means something. You probably have more than you realize.
Mostly means we haven't won yet.
You're also not all dead, and you've continued to protect your people and keep the city relatively safe. Stop putting yourself down so much. You have value. I want you to spread it.
He nods slightly.
I'll leave you to figure out who and how best to get to our ship.
Yes, I will need
gestures
time
towards
to
the-
figure that out.
He sort of pats or like does the like on top of the equipment he brought. So says, "Good luck," and turns away to leave.
Give me an insight check.
Sure.
Or sense motive. I don't know what it's called in the system.
Sense motive. I also get envoy dice on that. It's like I built a social character or something. Net 20.
Okay. You get a bit of a feeling that McCanthus people aren't really appreciating him giving you so many, well, not things, they're not physical, but agreeing to so much that you're forcing on him. First waiting a bit, and now, like, sending people despite it being very risky, and sending a fighter who may or may not want to leave. You have a feeling you're pushing McCanthus into an awkward position among his people.
Azrael pauses, like making eye contact with these people and getting this insight. And then he pauses and, "Can I get everybody's attention, please? I know there's a lot of tension growing around here, and that some of your frustrations are directed toward me. It's understandable that after so long you must feel like nothing's happening fast enough. The willpower and the fortitude that you must have to have endured and fought for so long. I could learn something from each and every one of you. Before that, however, all I'm trying to do is ease the burdens of the weakest of this overburdened populace. I'm not going to lie, the planet that we're going to isn't doing well, but the people there would be sympathetic to your cause. Everything I'm doing is trying to add to your numbers. Each of you has made the decision to bravely fight for your home, and your valor is not to be dismissed. But you have your own loved ones to consider. Communities that aren't strong enough to fight, and they're just trying to live. You know your city much better than I do, and I will return to detritus. But anyone who asks for maybe not a better life, but a safer life in the short term, those are the only people that we're trying to relieve the burdens of. People that could one day become doctors or engineers, computer scientists, farmers, cooks, scholars, artists, people who can learn these trades and look after their families, but aren't the ones who are needed right now. But these people are needed to help starships run and planets grow, to fuel a society that we can give to them after we, the brave, take down these goddamn lizards and give them the foundation to do so. Start thinking long term.
Give me a diplomacy check.
No!
You are met with empty faces staring you down.
It's bound to happen eventually.
It's probably time to leave.
Damn it.
Very
well done,
that
though.
one. I tried my best. I can't do anything about a nat one.
No, the rolls roll as they may, but as the effort as it was, that was quite something.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Azrael's speech was certainly superb, but it seems to have hit a nerve with these people who may have heard the same sort of speech multiple times in the last 30 years, never leading to much, and at some point, it's not the right thing to do. As McCanfer said, it's not words that these people need.
Well, I'm trying to do action, but I need them to freaking open their eyes to see it. Regardless, it seemed to have got through to McCanfer at least, so maybe he can, talk to these people once their nerves have calmed down a bit. But Azrael will make his way back to the ship. Do you want another stealth check?
Yes.
I don't have the thing anymore because I gave it to him. 19.
19. Let me actually check because that might be very close.
It's probably the lowest of the stealth. My good luck with these stealth and diplomacies was bound to run out at some point.
I mean, you've rolled so much. It's sometimes it just doesn't work out.
I think that's the first time in one of those that I've rolled like beneath a 14.
You think you made it out without being spotted.
Lovely.
So you didn't. Okay.
Yeah. I am so good. Either that or Sheeps was messing. Regardless, because of my expert stealthing, that of course I am the best at, make my way to the ship.
And you can return. It's probably maybe nearing evening at this point, with Lorelia having spent most of the day, perhaps the morning towards noon, building the community.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that Haya and Zachriel particularly do at this day?
Well, I think Zachriel has been out shopping, buying like a bunch of parts of various types, and since we don't really have much of a workshop, he's probably like co-opted like an operations room or something like that, like just one that's there and isn't in use because most of them aren't, and is like wearing a welding mask and like welding stuff together and connecting wires and like looking at manuals and stuff. Assembling his power armor.
Cool.
From the parts he has gathered. That's probably going to take a while though, so that's probably his main thing.
What about Haya?
So how long is this taking? Oh, it's taking a day?
It's like a good part of a day.
I mean, would Zachriel need like my power suit to like look after, or like? I mean, they're probably different designs, though, I guess.
I mean, originally, I think he has already. Like again, he spent some time wearing it.
Yeah.
While underwater, he's had a good look at it. So for that, I think he's actually good. Yeah.
Maybe Haya can offer moral support.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I cannot do engineering at all, so he might be like training in it. I guess he's still fairly new in it, like, so trying to do different things. Maybe also not like training, but also trying to figure out where his limits are. Like, oh,
Suddenly stronger than you used to be.
Yeah.
yeah, stronger, but also like, sometimes a little less mobile and like trying to figure out like its weaknesses, I guess.
Yeah.
He does like notice how comfortable he seems to be. Like this, for him, it's like another layer a little bit, and he's, it's like almost like he was made for this.
And on that same line, while Lorelia is fixing stuff up, she will offer to, this stuff is kind of high tech and it's kind of complicated, but she's willing to, have ya just, bunker down with her, and she just talks away and tells him what she's doing. You might not get the whole concept, but it's learning in a sense. So, if that's something you would
Yeah,
like to
I mean,
do.
that would be great. Yeah.
She knowledge is something that she has a lot of, and if it's not shared or used, it's going to waste. So, more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I think she'll fast find out because I have nothing engineer. That it's like he is very interested in like functions in like how to do stuff. She starts like how it's built or made or something. Yeah, he like 2 seconds he slips off. It's
Yeah.
like that. That's not the way to get.
He thinks, yeah.
Yeah.
She might notice this and just be like,
Yeah.
"This is what does this exactly." As in, like,
Yeah.
this is the function of this, rather than
Yeah.
like go into the complicated.
Yeah.
It's just like this does this does that. You don't need to know
when you
why.
connect these two things together, and it's like a blank look. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he would enjoy that for sure.
Yeah.
All right. And so night would approach, which means I would like Seraph to roll me a flat d20.
Okay.
Wow. You don't feel like he's done enough. It's just, wow.
No, not a D30. D20.
Put it all on him.
6.
Well, you don't know. That could be good or bad. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It could be good.
Yeah.
But perhaps Azrael is keeping a bit of an eye out of the ship's windows to see if anything is actually happening. And
Probably like perched on top and with the scope from his sniper, just sort of looking through it, and the scanner, and looking for signs of people coming towards the ship. Maybe look stealthily, see if you can do anything to distract Vex patrols. Yeah, just keeping an eye out.
yeah, you do see a bit of a commotion at the entrance of the docks. There's maybe 6-7 Voyokans currently being blocked entrance by the Vesk guards that are stationed on this. They don't seem to be willing to budge. And after just a few minutes, without really any escalation happening, the Voyokans do again leave.
That sucks. Damn it.
Yeah. Is there? I'm gonna try and I'm gonna take sniper rifle. This is before, like, as the refugees are walking away. Are they going towards like my left side, the right side? It doesn't really matter.
They seem to be dispersing sort of this direction.
I will fire a shot, having it hit just like a building or something in a general direction that's opposite of where, like, once they've made a little bit of traction, just trying to get the Vesk guards' attention, and if maybe they go and investigate, and then there's an opening.
Okay, a couple questions then. Are you inside the ship? If so, you can't open the windows. It's a spaceship.
No, I said I was perching on top.
Perching on top of the ship. Okay. Does your rifle
lying down.
Does your rifle have a silencer?
It's an assassin stalker rifle, so I would assume so.
Assassin stalker rifle.
It's
That's
specifically built for like taking it apart and putting it together and being all sneaky and assassin-like.
that does sound like it would have. Which book is that from?
I think it's
Armory.
4. I can't remember. Is it Armory? Yeah.
It's-
I don't know if it specifically says it has a silencer, but I would guess more than any other.
I just
it
need
would
to.
be likely to have.
I just need to see how likely it is for Ezreal to get spotted. Because firing a weapon is certainly something.
I know it's ballsy, but
It doesn't say anything about silencing for or like to not or basically either way. It does say that it is particularly made to be broken down into small component parts, so it can be hidden on a person without it being a sniper rifle, which means it's very difficult to detect or identify. It also says it can be in a Yusoki's cheek pouches when it's broken down.
Okay.
They can make it into a little
Important.
toolkit and then
yeah.
unfold it later.
I mean, that's pretty cool. It's pretty rad.
So if it's something I could get away with, I would just do that and then like crawl backwards so that I'm more on top of the ship and then breaking it, finding.
Let's do it like this.
It's,
Give me a stealth -10.
Oh, wow.
Stealth -10.
You know the odds now, so decide if
You know, it's
Yeah,
it's-
I
Ezreal
think
would.
I've already said it. Do
No,
I
you-
still
you-
get a choice?
You still get a choice. Ezreal is smart. He knows there's more things to worry about. It's silencer, whatever it has, might not be perfect. If it even has one, there might be a muzzle flash. Someone might quickly trace the route the bullet might have taken. He's not entirely safe. It's a long distance, but he's taking a risk here.
You know what? I think it's in Azrael's character to take a risk like that for the sake of innocent people. So, and I don't know, maybe there's a better solution, but Zareth, cannot think of one.
for the future, you could buy silencers and the flash
It's a
muscle
flash.
flash suppressor.
You know what? I would assume that
Well,
Azrael
way
would have done
more.
that, but I also have no money, so yeah.
That's like 2,000 a piece.
Oh wow!
It is,
Yeah,
it is
pretty
no
expensive.
joke, and they just reduced the stealth check penalty by 5.
You
sniping.
know what?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, the penalty.
23. Oh, that's a nat 20.
That's a net 20. Let me see if they too roll a net 20. They do not. You think you've gotten away with it. The two vests with their little Skittermander assistant at the dock do look at each other, and well, one of them sort of looks that way a little bit. It's not really perhaps the effect that Ezreal might have hoped, but in an age where radios are a thing,
Oh, God.
you cannot however see that the refugees, the Voyagans that have gotten sent away, do seem to stop and perhaps look for an opportunity. But
I do it again.
one
hold
hasn't
on,
presented
wait.
itself yet.
Lorelia does
Can't talk
have
to them.
a feature here, which I could use, although it depends because you have mentioned, Sheep, that this plant does not have an infosphere, it's more like a local network, but she
Yeah.
does have the amplify glitch thing, where she could just cause a bunch of electronic craft to freak out. I was wondering if she could use that in tandem to create a bigger confusion, and it's like she doesn't really need to be. It's hard to be tracked because it's more of a wireless thing, I guess.
Is that a class feature?
It is a
It's
feat
a
that
feat.
I took.
Oh, a feat.
Yes. I'll click the button so you can read it up and see
On one target creature per character level, no two of which can be more than 30 feet apart. It doesn't say ranged. Oh. Must be carrying technological devices, which they are.
Yeah.
Alarms to go off, automated devices to spin, and flail readouts. Yeah, give me a computer's check.
Okay. Let's see here. 21.
15 plus 1 per target.
Yeah,
There's
and it's 1.5 times their CR. It's difficult.
You might at least make a sound go off. It might work in tandem with mine.
Yeah, like it's not something that's trackable. It's just whether or not they get shaken by it. How intense it would end up being is how I would interpret that.
It's not really enough to beat the DC here. I'm gonna say out of the 2 West guards and his and their little Skitterman assistant, one of them does walk off towards where Ezreal shot, leaving only the 2 behind.
I look through the scope. Is there another Vesk that he's going to be meeting up towards? Like, does he come and then that also walks nearby? Or is it just him?
You can't quite see it. It is some distance away. The city is a bit bigger than it might appear on this little overview here.
Even with the scope and the scanner?
There's buildings in the way and such. You don't see any other Vesk currently at the spot there.
Once I see him go as far as I think, as Azrael thinks he can get away with, I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to deliberately try and go, like, have a near miss. Ooh. So that he calls for backup.
Against the Vesk walking away?
Yes.
Okay, give me another stealth check -10.
Oh, God.
I think it's technically stealth -20 for sniping, but we'll just include distance in there already.
As part of the stuff. No extra things to. That can't be right. Oh, I didn't include the -10. That's still 21.
21 is still pretty good.
So I shoot right past his head, trying to essentially bluff him that I'm that I'm trying to take, that someone in like this area is trying to take a shot, and they shoot at him.
Right, distance is included in the skill as in the stealth check. I'm gonna roll this in the open. That is high.
Oh no.
The Vesk, perhaps combat trained to the point where being sniped at doesn't immediately, make him scared and run away. He quickly turns around, and you're pretty sure he maybe has spotted you sitting on top of the ship, or maybe your muzzle flash, or maybe has heard something. But you're fairly certain that your cover has been found out.
Okay, I will, because I'm lying prone on it with the sniper, I'm just gonna crawl backwards, trying to, as stealthy as I can, just get the hell out of there.
There's no position if you want to re-enter the ship.
Yeah, I tried, guys. I don't know. How does this play out if I trying to keep?
Well, re-entering the ship, you lose sight of the Vesk, looking out the windows.
I would like to take one last look at the refugees, see what they're doing before I hop in or hop off the roof.
They still seem to be standing sort of inside of the dock guard. However, the guard is still there, and so they are not really in a position to, or a willingness to fight.
I don't know what else I can do.
I would have suggested going to talk to them and asking to let the people through to the hospital ship, but I think that's a little late now.
Yeah.
What do you do, if anything?
I will back off. I don't think I want to quite go inside the ship yet. I just gonna keep an eye and see what they do. I'll take off the scope and look through it, but I'll have the rest ready to break down if need be.
Right. Give me perception checks. Well, one of them. Because it's only you really doing these things.
Yeah.
I'm learning about power armor.
Nope.
The vest you shot at quickly ducks out of sight.
Okay, I'll do the same.
And moments later, the Vesk at the dock seems to do the same thing, with his Skittermander sort of running about.
I think I've pushed it as far as I can.
Ezreal just
back off.
Okay, you back off. What comes next?
I don't know what else to do. I don't know.
The next few minutes matter.
I mean,
I guess we can take a look through the cameras, and
I would suggest going out. So what you could do, right, to salvage this is be like, hey, there has been an intruder on our ship, right? Because we need a cover now because someone has shot at them from our ship on top of our ship. We're clearly suspects immediately. We need a cover, first of all. Second of all, we need that cover to get those people. Like we basically going to say those people should be on our ship because they're it's a hospital ship. We're treating them, but we've like the AI. Or, well, we can't say AI, but basically we've detected an intruder. Whatever provides reasonable doubt that it's not us, and then we'll go from there.
We don't happen to still have any dead bodies on the ship, do we?
That is a terrible cover, though.
Well, the alternative would be to do nothing and have them knock on our door and be like, "Hey, one of our soldiers just noticed someone shooting at him from your ship. What's going on?"
I can answer any questions they have about that because I legitimately know absolutely nothing about why anyone would do that.
True.
Suppose if you get in a heated enough conversation, that might give me a chance to stealth to the refugees and bring them on board.
I mean, or you could just answer
I have no
honestly
idea.
and say they were coming here for treatment anyway. I mean, I'm sure that's all that girl would know. But the thing is,
I think Ezra's just like, I screwed up. We need help. We need to do this.
I don't know if Zakril even knows about like those refugees coming, except for the people. He basically gave a blanket invitation to people who needed medical care, like to.
Ezra would have told people in the hours between. I just.
Oh, okay.
Didn't want
Joel, he's
just
still
didn't want to
working
take
on the
up all the screen
workshop,
time. Yeah.
listening to some music, welding and.
Does
Probably
Ezreal...
at this point trying it on, moving about a little.
Oh yeah, he definitely alerts everyone over the comms.
So you first hear over the comms, oh, I screwed up.
Yeah.
It looks as what is it, Ezreal? You can tell us anything.
And Lorelei is just like, damn, because all she heard from Sarah was like, I need a distraction, and she was like, okay, and then did her thing, and then the next thing she hears is like, I fucked up.
Yeah. Refugees were coming to the ship. Vesk tried to stop them. I took a shot to try and distract, and it backfired. I think they know where it came from. If you can take their attention.
Shot someone?
I will explain later. Recover now.
All right. No, yes. Drop what he's doing and then go to see what the fuck's going on. I imagine similar reactions from the crew.
Haya's like looking first. When Lorelei is like making the distraction, he's just like, takes him a couple of like maybe half a minute to realize that she's not blabbering on, and he's like, wait, what? What's going on? It's like, oh, I guess maybe she trailed off thinking about something, and then like he hears that over the comm, and he's like, all right. Looks at Aurelia, and he's like, okay, now I guess we gotta go now.
Yeah, she looks up and says, I didn't expect that, but we'll make do with what we have. Let's go.
Yeah. since I am less well known than the rest of you as part of this crew, and also the only stealthy one, Azrael will try and, if you can provide him opportunity, he's going to then try and get to the refugees and bring them back. He'll be ready to do so. So like hop off the ship and ditch the sniper rifle, break it down into its pieces and toss them in different places on the ship.
All right. Well, for a few minutes, first of all, not much happens.
It's good.
After those few minutes, however, you can see a group of 5 Vesk and a Skittermander making their way past the lone Vesk that still mans the dock guard, presumably towards your ship, keeping an eye out, weapons drawn, rather big rifles, with the Vesk in front having perhaps some sort of laser cutter or equivalent.
All right, people, we know nothing about what happened. We're a hospital ship here to help the sick and wounded, and we're expecting a group of locals to arrive with various maladies that we can help, might be able to help with.
Agreed. She like comes up with her like med kit, because first thing she would do when people would come in is to triage them. So, you know, she arrives as if she expects people that need treatment and not dressed with laser cutters.
I looks at that,
That's
it's
gonna
like,
go to the
oh,
bridge.
puts his spear back and is like trying to look like he's not confrontational.
You do get a message on your comm, which basically, let me type it out.
That's what Sacriel would be like at the bridge, you know, standing officer. Still probably got like oil and stuff in his hands though, and face, like, you know. So then we're still working on this thing.
So your ship chimes in with its opinion.
Oh no.
Sacriel looks at it and over the comm says, "Everyone in the ship,
Negative.
get inside. We're leaving."
You go, I'll go get the refugees and get them to the big-bellied bulwark. I'll catch up to you.
Fair enough.
I screwed up. I gotta get myself out of this mess. But you go.
Yeah, I suppose we got to be refugees ourselves, fugitives. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, if the ship says it, I mean, the alternative, and this is something I bring to you guys players, like, how much worse is? Well, it's a lot worse, isn't it? They think we're smugglers right now. We would run away from any like people. That's fair. But if we brought them inside and murder all of them, that would be a different level of.
I will
We
say
could never take this ship back. Yeah.
I will say it's an AI. It doesn't understand social. I'm fairly sure. I doesn't probably understand the possibility of
if
actually
you're in a
talking.
foreign nation and you, with a sniper rifle, shoot at the police, like it's going to be, if nothing else, you're going to be halted for an investigation, and we don't have time for an investigation.
Yeah, we do. We
have a deadline on a plan. Like if they say, "Oh, we're going to halt your ship while we search it," it's quite big, so it's going to take a couple of days. You'll have to kill all of them and leave.
Just go.
Like that's the problem here, right? Like it's you shoot at the police, it's not going to be. That's a very serious thing to do.
I know. I'm sorry.
So
I wouldn't apologize. It's all in player agency here.
You know, don't don't think, oh god, I as a player screwed up. Think
No,
about
no.
Azrael tried everything to get these refugees to safety. He took a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you played
Yeah.
your character, man.
Oh, it's
not-
definitely
not
what
you.
Azrael would do. It's not what
Yeah.
I would do. It's not that.
No, no,
I'm
for
feeling
sure.
it. I'm feeling Azrael's tension and guilt right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So please
I think
go.
Becca over
I
the
will
com
try and-
to Asriel will say, better take this distraction then to get the people into the other ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
let's
replies,
get-
take their attention off me as much as possible, and I'll catch up to you.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna happen basically by us taking off. I mean, that's
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
They should be paying attention to us, right? I think, not to the random guy. Ideally, don't get captured. I would have to come to rescue. You know how busy we are. Girls say, I was joking.
Yeah.
So-
until we show our faces,
Just fine.
they don't
Yeah.
really know exactly
Yeah.
what's
Just
going
find
on.
Slazlak
So,
and get
yeah.
this done. I'm really glad I told Sobuk to go on the ship.
Well, good thing I got my shoving done the first day. Let's go.
All right. Well, Azrael is left with a single Vesk standing guard and a handful of Voyokans who are still sort of eyeing the way towards the dock, although they're hesitating now that the hospital is leaving.
Is the guard blocking the dock to
All ships.
Yeah,
all ships or just ours?
He's basically positioned at the edge here with the main route going this way and then folding out to all the
Splitting
platforms.
They don't want the people to leave because in time they're pretty sure that all of them would have. They need the workforce for this, right?
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah.
We need like a We Are the People march or something.
Mhm. Azrael will try and sneak around him, even if that involves like getting in the water or whatever I have to do.
You could climb up the side. You could either try to sneak past him. The walkway is wide enough that you have a potential there, or you could swim and climb. So a stealth check or 2 athletics.
Well, I think my let me just quickly check here. Sorry.
Yeah, the consequence of the athletics would be maybe like not drowning, but maybe taking a bit of damage as you fall or get a bit of water in you. Whereas stealth check, obviously, you discovered.
My athletics is terrible, but the consequences much. Screw it. I'm gonna go stealth.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Azra, I'm gonna do everything to get these people on board. And I think McAnther would appreciate all the risk getting taken when he eventually hears about it. Hopefully. 30.
30. All right. I mean, the Vesguard can't physically make it.
Say again?
He can't physically make a 30.
Yeah. I
am the wind.
Yeah.
Shadow.
Yeah, he just like fucking, because we're in darkness and he's past the guys. We're just gonna sprint towards the or not sprint, but like run as fast as he can without being like fully obvious.
Yeah, like
that crouch run that
exactly.
that they do like in movies. Yeah, does that, gets up to the Boyokans and say, like grabs one of them by the arm, says, "Change of plans, new ship. Come with me. I don't have time to explain, but trust me."
The Voyakan you grabbed nods in like a bit of a panicked expression. But they'll certainly follow you.
It's a good thing we're not like traffickers.
Yeah. I go over to the edge and I'm going to point towards the big-bellied bulwark. So that's the one we're aiming for.
Give me a diplomacy check. You're pointing them towards the Vesk ship.
Yeah, I'll explain. It's been commandeered. It's a disguise. 12.
They all seems very terrible to them. Like the place they were supposed to go has just taken off, and now like there's panic going on. There's armed guards. You're pointing them to a half-broken Vesk ship. They freeze.
He looks into them. He tries to like meets one of their eyes and says, "I know it's scary. Trust me. I did not want to take you to this one because I knew that this would be a jump, a leap of faith. I wanted to make it easier, and that didn't work out. But I promise you, that ship right there has been commandeered by me and my crew. It is under our control."
Alright, give me another diplomacy with -2. However, because these people are so scared and, well, shit's going on, they'll take a -2 if they have to roll anything.
Okay. No, 19.
19's pretty good.
19
Pretty good.
Not bad.
That like high skill bonus
-2.
privilege.
Everything these days is about taking a chance. I'm taking a chance on you. He gestures to himself and the situation that we're in, and the fact that his friends have left.
No, we're looking at a DC of 21 here.
No.
They
What can I do?
You know, living in the city isn't great. It's overcrowded. These people are some of the more worse off workers, as promised. But this is just, they are not fighters. They can't melt into the shadows. They have to go through armed Vesk into a broken Vesk ship to maybe get off this planet. They refuse.
Let me take his attention. You can make it to the ship.
Ezreal gets the inkling that whatever he's going to say next isn't going to matter. The situation, the opportunity has passed.
Okay. He looks at the situation, looks at them scared. He's like, no, I'm sorry. I tried. We will get you off. I promise. Keep hope alive. Get home safe. And then he will go, and hopefully one of them will see that he's at least the Vesk ship. Something to think about, at least. And yeah, I guess he'll try and get to the Big Belly Bulwark. And
Okay, give me a stealth check.
you know what? Actually, I'll just wait till the heat dies down.
Okay,
That ship isn't under suspicion, but
that is true. And they
just
haven't
go the next day.
They haven't really seen you, and I don't think anyone except for the Vesk captain actually knows that you belong to the hospital. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
I'll
that there's nothing to roll. Yeah.
Yeah, I wait till the heat dies down, I stroll on up, and I'll catch up to them in like a day. So there we go. We can cut over to the Pteris Medicus.
And so you make your way off-world after this exciting, perhaps unexpected, sudden departure. That's the word. Oops. You don't really need to do anything special to actually leave the atmosphere, the orbit of the planet, as the Vesk vessel seems to be okay with your presence. Perhaps it is simply assuming that, well, you arrived here somehow, so you're probably leaving there legally and such. And if anything fishy happened, you would have been caught on the surface.
Of course.
So you are free to move about in the system as you please, with Ezreal and Sobok catching up a day later. Time to go to the space map.
Oops.
What?
Sorry, no, I knocked something over. I bet.
Yeah, I might catch up to you fairly soon. I probably get past the Dreadnought faster than you, and our ships faster. So
Make sure to copy your tokens and put them onto the space map.
Oh,
I don't think it'll take too long to catch up to.
Sobok needs to go.
gonna save my
On
token just in
the
case.
way. Yeah. Oh, that's an old
Where-
Ezreal.
Oh, here.
Yeah, you can delete
Ah.
all tokens.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, don't be.
Alright.
Don't be sorry for
Played-
providing excitement.
Yeah, you played your
I know.
character's motivations very well, and you've given us something exciting to currently deal with. I think.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
mean,
we can
yeah,
ever
if-
take back the hospital ship back there.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
fine. The guy will
yeah.
just be like, "So you were smugglers?" And we'd be like, "Yeah, you know, we'll just have to bring some
You
contraband
know
next
how
time."
it is.
You wanted half of it, so
yeah,
That's
the
true.
drugs and Endeavor. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
pla-
Like in
plenty.
characters, like
Yeah,
oh crap,
like, you just
but
bring
like
some, like,
I-
oh, this is illegal plants.
Probably some
Yeah.
mushrooms. What's
They're
the big deal?
medicinal illegal plants.
Well, they just legalized.
They
Oh,
help
well.
people relax.
Jeez. The one piece of agriculture that thrives on Endeavor is weed. From
I mean,
Space.
probably.
I mean,
space weed.
But you
it's-
just
it's
light up the
purple.
bulb and it works, you know.
Also, that's how they've been so. Got it. High in the trees. I get it now. There we go.
They
Sorry,
didn't
it took me
need-
so long to understand.
They didn't need
Got
technology.
behind the trees
Yeah.
to evade the,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. The system.
yeah.
Turns out they aren't druidic at all. One with nature means something entirely different.
yeah.
Like your self-melting.
Those rituals, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just, you know, want to see this.
Kind of a weird cannibalism thing, but you know.
This is probably the time that Sobek has liked Azrael the most, because for once he's silent.
It's like, maybe it's not so bad.
Do you tell Sobok about your little adventure at the dock? He didn't really notice what was going on. He was in the ship, sort of punted
not
over
unless
there.
he asks. I mean, I'll probably tell him in like a day, maybe two. But I'm kind of just like, you know, when you're not fuming, but like internally guilt fuming at yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, Ezra's just doing that as he goes to the stations that at this point is very familiar with, that each of them have to do like 2 or 3 jobs at once, and just tries to like bury himself in that so he doesn't have to think very much.
I mean, you know, think about it this way. They're not really the police, they're an occupying military force of a fascist
Oh.
regime.
Oh, I don't feel bad about shooting them. I just
No.
feel bad that I failed and then
You
brought
missed.
heat on I brought heat to the ship for nothing. And the civilian, the worst of the worst, are still there when they could have been.
It's not like these
On the
people
hospital
really give a
ship.
damn. They were just looking for something to do because they're super bored on this planet.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, you
But
know,
Azrael
also,
cares,
he
and he
tried so
failed.
much, and you know,
But in the end, it didn't even matter.
no, more like I didn't even expect you to get
Yeah.
that far. Look, that guy in the resistance.
I know.
Yeah, if Ezreal shares this
Want
little
to like stab him. You know?
little emotional outburst with Sobok, he'll actually break his characteristic silence for a bit, and says, "You took a risk to implement a promise you've made. How very Vesk of you."
Oh my God! What's not gonna make you feel worse?
He doesn't say
One
anything,
of
but
us now.
he does.
Oh,
He
God.
does. Ezra responds with Sobok's typical grunt.
Hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like that was supposed to be some sort of perhaps compliment or consolation.
You're just like me, friend.
Yeah,
Fucking
you
time
tried the
that
best
someone wasn't
campfire.
big enough.
I could imagine you invading innocent systems and enslaving their people.
You know, these Vesk characters seem to be quite a lot nicer to us than normal people. I mean,
Yeah,
what?
so far, out of all the friendlies that we, or quote unquote friendlies that we've encountered, the Vesk have been the
Warm and-
nicest by far.
I
Except
would
for
say-
Saz. Except for
That
Saz.
flag is
Warm and the best, you know?
gay, you know?
Yeah, he's
I like-
buddy.
Yeah. Man. Pick the wrong side. Fuck all these people, man.
It's not too late. We could,
Well, that's like
No, I am
Join-
I am also
we could join
Excited.
the Vescarium and then encourage them to turn on the pack
change from
worlds.
the inside. No, that'd be the worst.
Yeah.
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 Everyone at some point is always tempted by the nuclear option.
That's not the
Also,
new
it's worth considering that for your friendly Vesk and Sobok in particular, you've saved their life of the Vesk, or in Sobok's case twice, whereas for the other people you came a promising rescue, but your successes directly relevant to them have been sparse.
True,
Yeah.
but
I
that
mean,
was
we
out of
could've
our
taken
control at
those.
least.
Excuse me. We're coming to their second rescue.
Exactly, yeah. You've rescued Sobok twice and the others once, with hopefully
And
soon
then-
twice.
Yeah, well, let's just get to Endeavor.
I mean,
I
if
guess-
that's
I guess
not
two
if
ti-
that's
I
not
guess-
going to hell with us, then I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I guess two
Yeah.
times the charm when people want to help you save their lives twice.
No, that's cool though. I mean, we'll save the world and the universe in time. You will not become jaded. No,
No,
we'll never give up.
depends what save turns out to
Justice,
be.
good, and Saren rays in our hearts. And as long as we hold true to what
I
we
need
are
to,
and who we are, we can never be defeated.
Yeah.
If they knock us down, we'll stand back up.
You know, if I go
Ask
to
them
the
for
thrift
another
store
go.
and find like an eel plushie, I might buy it just so I can slowly choke it wherever I'm playing this game.
Eel?
Hold it in my hand and just like
Why
twist
an
it.
eel?
Well, because these people are eel people. They're so frustrating.
No, they're Vayakans. Oh,
They are basically eel people.
They're eel people.
you know what? I
Shoot,
learned their language,
now that-
and their culture
now
is
that
rich
Alien
and
Archive
vulnerable.
3 is,
valuable.
Now that Alien Archive 3 is out, does the planet also have the otter people?
No.
Otter people.
Yeah, no, don't, because then
I feel
Joe's
like if
gonna
there
play.
were one, we would have one.
Oh no,
No,
we wouldn't
no
want to
other people.
display? Question mark.
Suddenly, Aurelia takes off the mask. He was an otter person this entire time.
I
I
was
saw
actually,
a picture for one
That
of
was
the new
what I
Swarm
forgot.
Scary.
No,
The special power to open claims with rocks. You know.
I have not heard the end of it
Very
since you
tough.
said it was in the book sheep, so don't encourage him more than you already have.
I mean, pretty cute.
Well, I guess we hang out and wait for the bulwark to come so we can let it
That's
in the
fine.
hangar.
It travels faster than you. Just keep going. I'll catch up.
Are we getting pursued? Is what I'm asking here. Like,
No.
oh, okay. Well, I
I don't
guess.
think they have a space fleet here.
All right.
Only that big ass shit.
Yeah, most of it's moved on. They just have their ground troops and the dreadnought.
The you know, the Asian Empire here the Viatoran Reach didn't have a fleet really, so I guess there wasn't really much of a
Oh, not
threat
even.
once they left.
Conquer the landmass. Yeah.
Oh my god. The Vesk just came, parked their space bus, and was like, "This is ours now." And it was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
we were like, no.
Pretty
and-
much. I
no,
mean, we were. Our empire's a pushover. Like,
You-
We
you
were
can't do
peaceful
that.
philosophers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It certainly did not help that the Saint and Martyr just entered the drift and
Disappeared.
left.
I mean, the
Yeah.
guy who made that thing was also considered kind of a radical. Who was like, we thought we were beyond military. We thought
no,
But
it wasn't.
in a
far, it was
universe
just like,
that's so big
mobile
and
unit.
wonderful, war
Yeah.
will surely be a thing of the past for all spacefaring races.
yeah.
Such advances cannot be made while still holding to the antiquated ideals of violence solving problems. But look where we are, working as mercenaries and trying to. Yeah, we learned a thing or two about the universe.
Yeah. The
Yes.
universe says no.
Universe doesn't care about your problems. That's what we
So
have.
Asa might be one of the worst planets to recruit people from because they're all artsy and like, well, for the Vest,
Yeah.
at least, like philosophers.
Also,
What
please
Have you considered talking to the swarm?
please copy your tokens and put it into the white space on the space map.
Well,
Otherwise, you will lose them.
I save it like once per minute.
I save it anytime we move anywhere on the map, just in case. You never know.
Where am I putting myself on the space map?
Bottom left-ish.
Oh,
There's a big white space.
In fact, I'll drag it out and then save it on top of itself again.
Also, I really like the new art for Haya. It's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
fixing it
pretty
right
good.
now. It's just. I have to Google how to import pictures, from a token. So now I know how to do that. So
Oh, you've learned. Yeah, I like it.
Alright. Meeting up with the big-bellied bulwark a day later isn't really an issue. Is there anything in particular you do on this day of waiting, or is it just you wait?
Well, apparently the ship is faster than us, so we should just go.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
Laura is just
catch up
gonna.
to it in space.
Yeah.
Presumably, I got past the dreadnought faster than you, and also the ship is like almost twice your speed, something like that. So I'll just go.
Psycho's going to go back to working on his armor thing. He knows where we're going. He knows what we're doing. We'll be looking for Slash-like
I will be
soon.
pacing back and forth.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like when the party is split. Because he's a guard, and it's very hard to guard people who are in different spaceships.
That's true.
He barely
We'll
got
catch
to
up.
the West at this point.
It's true. He keeps being away.
Yeah. I think
Working a
Haya is
lot
probably the
with
person
that.
I've
Is he
developed.
really?
Every time
I
you
think
come
Haya's
to
the
the
person that Ezra has developed the least of a relationship with.
I
Have to fix
try to
that.
reach out and
What? No, you haven't.
you did, but you weren't
That's-
there.
he just doesn't care.
Oh. For his
Oh.
birthday, he looked around and
Yeah.
Astra's chair was empty.
Well, I'm sorry. I was out, getting the piece of tech we needed to save Endeavor.
Nothing.
Oh,
No,
nothing much.
Haya,
There
I'll
was
take
an
you out for.
There was an empty box. It's like
Haya, I'll make you
These are my
breakfast tomorrow.
feelings
We
for
can
you.
chat and get some. We can have
Opened
some.
it.
We can have coffee. We can.
it was like a dead bird. It's like
Coffee that's very insensitive to Gorans.
yeah.
High's grandmother was a cock.
All right, Chief. Lorelai's not going to do anything except inwardly panic at what happened, but there's nothing she can do. So
Alright.
she looks just as calm as ever.
We were going to
Like
do another
tick when
later.
high is like pacing back and forth. Like
In
fast.
fact, I think
zoomed into.
Asriel just wanted to give us a bit of motivation. He's not known to be someone who ever fails at what he tries to do, so I can only assume that he was getting bored without taking so long. Sometimes it's important to have people around you who can tell you honestly when something needs to be done.
Right.
Well, skipping forward a little bit, I assume you roughly told Zalek where he's supposed to wait for you after his little
Yes.
mission on Aether.
Definitely. A very defined point in space.
Maybe not defined, but around.
Yeah, solar coordinates is a thing, I'm sure.
Well, you could,
You're
for
the pilot.
example, determine a specific distance between 3 points, which would be a pretty exact position, something like that. Well, what I'm getting at, you can decide on a position.
It has been done thoroughly.
Yeah.
It has been done.
Scan for swarm once we get there, and wait till something beeps.
Oh man.
Yeah, like a panic beeping by the AI. Like,
Oh,
no, it's not
God!
good. No, it knows who's like this. It's a smart AI.
They've been
Programmed it in.
familiar.
Yeah. Make exception for this swarm ship ID.
And meeting him, not an issue. He is at the spot where he said he would be. An outward scan also doesn't reveal that he's taken any significant damage. He might have, however, he's an organic spaceship. One of the features, they heal very quickly, so it's irrelevant
Pretty
if he
great.
takes small amounts of damage. And from the fact that he is doing little barrel rolls and whatnot as he detects your approach, suggests that things have gone well.
I love him. Can we keep him forever?
He's the only friendly non-Vesk we've met.
No, I think he's a good boy.
I think we should all just become spaceships. Clearly, it's
Just
really
want to pet him.
But summarizing a bit, I assume like Lorelia makes contact or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
He will explain that, things went exactly as expected. He was told there would be a small transport ship leaving from Acer that he was supposed to intercept. He did. He didn't really expect it to be armed, but as it turns out, it was a Vesk ship. All of them are armed at all times. And he has incredibly much enjoyed finding out how much damage he can actually cause against a small ship. Smaller than his. And so he did. He was told, he was initially suggesting to just disable the ship and then just take the thing, but apparently that wasn't a good idea, so he just blew it up and recovered whatever was inside. And among the things were actually a couple things. Most of it not really noteworthy. There's like a metal statue which might have once been on one of the cities in Detritus, like a small one, maybe like 3 meters or something. But especially there's 2 items of note. One appears to be a satellite of some kind, presumably the exact thing you actually wanted to recover. It's approximately the size of maybe, like, imagine a washing machine times 3. It's not a huge thing. And as he transfers it aboard your ship, you can see it's quite an ingenious design. Give me an engineering check.
Ooh, okay. Let's
Good shit.
engineer. 31.
The device seems to simply, with the solar panels that for once are still attached, not recycled by the Vesk, absorb energy from the sun, which it then almost directly beams down towards whatever surface the satellite is orbiting. However, it shifts the light in such a way, presumably to burn away specific substances.
So like a laser.
It's pretty much a big space laser.
Cool.
However, Lorelia would also think that while it's most likely enough to burn away the fog and help the ecology or whatever, what's the word? Ecology? The nature in a small area.
Yeah, call ecosystem. I mean,
Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
To really make a big difference on an entire planet, you would need at least hundreds, maybe thousands of these devices.
Okay.
Presumably,
We don't promise those right now.
yeah, it's gonna be enough to fulfill your promise of, letting the sun shine through the clouds, at least in a little spot. But unfortunately, it would be a drop in the ocean in terms as far as terraforming is concerned.
Yeah.
You're quite sure that the Viatoran Reach at some point had many of these things actually surrounding the planet.
All right, well, it's a start. It's a spark of hope for them to finally see that it's actually possible. That's what we need. So
There's one more thing that Zlazlak recovered, but he himself has no idea what this is even supposed to be. Maybe it broke apart when he shot the ship. It certainly looks different than the debris of the ship. It's a relatively small device made from a material that you can't immediately identify. It looks like a sort of purple metal, but a quick cursory scan doesn't recognize it as any known alloy.
Oh.
There's a lot of just technology attached to it, but none of that makes immediate sense to Lorelia.
Okay.
It's approximately maybe the size of 2 washing machines, because apparently washing machines are a unit of measurement.
Yeah.
It again looks somewhat satellite-alike. has a bit of a pointy bit, almost reminiscent of a weapon of some sort, but the exact purpose of it is difficult to tell.
Okay, further scrutiny later on. Does Sazak know what this is himself, or is he?
He has no idea. This is what the ship was carrying.
Okay.
One of the trophies that the governor on Asa was supposed to send back home for recyclement.
Ah.
God damn.
Okay. Well, let's not plug it into anything and blow up our ship, but Aurelia will put it aside for future study. But now we have something more important to do now.
Who knows?
One of the questions she would have had for Saslak as he was explaining this is, first of all, if he's okay, because he's still adjusting to his new form. And second of all, congratulate him on a job well done, because he did what he was asked to do, and that's just make him feel like he's appreciated, because he is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
You want like a wash or
Yeah.
something?
whether he's okay or not, he seems pretty happy. I mean, Lorelia has a connection that is way better than speech. She knows exactly what he's feeling, basically, and he seems excited. There's maybe a little bit of he just killed people, which doesn't seem like Zazek has done a lot before, or maybe he has.
Yeah,
But either way, he doesn't feel too bothered by it, but maybe a little bit. It's a bit of a back and forth.
Really,
Okay.
people though.
Yes.
It's
That's
fine.
right to feel bad, and if that's brought up, Zachariel can go and talk to him about why we do what we do, and
Yeah.
and
I just got a
sometimes,
Starfinder bingo. The last one I was missing. It's hate speech from here.
Oh, yes, I had that like.
Yeah, I was like, really? I know I've been gone for a couple sessions, but I mean,
Oh no, I do a new one every session.
oh, okay.
So yeah, that definitely brings up a new profession for Lorelia, is a swarm therapist. But okay, yeah, that's all she really wanted to ask him directly.
Actually, give me a sense motive check.
Okay, I'm not good at these, but I will try. Oh, 11.
Oh yeah, you don't get a clear
Yeah,
idea what's going on here. Doesn't
that's okay.
He seems mostly excited and happy.
All
You know,
right.
he did something important. That's all he really wants. It wasn't a large enough job to gain him loyalty, but this is the sort of thing that his character is all about, doing
Yep.
important things.
It might not be large to him, but to us,
Yeah.
I can say it's huge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
He did something that literally no one else could have done without bringing pain upon the Empire.
large might not have been the right word. There wasn't enough risk involved. If, say,
Oh,
he joined you in attacking the Vesk Dreadnought, that would be a thing that he would gain loyalty for.
but what if we lost him? How could we bear that? Can you resurrect swarm ships? I mean, they're living entities, right?
Technically?
Huh.
Good. Good.
That's something you do a PhD on.
Yeah. Call that angel hotline. Be like, hey, so I have a swarm ship friend who is technically not part of a hive mind, but was an organic spaceship. Is a nugget of diamond dust still enough? Yeah.
I mean, one soul is one soul, right? Like, surely the meat surrounding it is.
Well, can I have one soul in like 20 ships then? If the meat is it's nothing then.
Yeah, that would be Zlazak's report. It went as expected. You got a terraforming satellite, which will help, although it doesn't magically heal the planet, unfortunately. It's not that amazing.
I don't think we ever expected to do that.
And an unidentified piece of technology that Lorelia spontaneously can't really make much sense of. Although If you want to take a look at that, that'll involve a check.
Yeah, I mean, in the while people are getting ready to go planet side and looking at this terraformer, she will definitely bring her attention to it and take a cursory investigation here.
Okay. I think for this one, I keep pinging back and forth between engineering and physical science. Engineering is identified technology, so that's.
I can go either. So
If you need engineer help, I'm done with my armor at this point, definitely. So
yeah, Laurel is always happy to get some help.
Yeah, it's engineering.
All right.
got a +9.
Yeah, Lorelei will call you over and kind of look at you, and this is probably something she doesn't want to admit, but she just states, "I really don't know what this is." She scratches her head through the conical hat she has on and asks for help.
Oh yeah, Zucker's wearing his new armor. He's proud of the work. It feels good, and he also is stronger than usual, which is nice. He's got a taste of it where he has, but now he has his own fitted for him.
How long does it last? For
The armor?
yeah, it's powered. I mean,
it lasts like not that long per battery, but we're on a ship,
yeah, okay.
so he just plugs in a new battery.
Generally, it is assumed that you have enough batteries because tracking those is technically plausible, but
I believe it lasts an hour for. Actually, it lasts 20 hours before it has to be recharged.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
Yeah.
it's like a battery a day. I put it in the charger at night.
Yeah.
Cool.
Highest sleeps in his.
yeah, for this thing, we're looking at a DC 30.
Oh.
This
Do you
Awesome.
want me to assist you, or do we do separate checks, or what's the?
I think the best case here would be you assisting me.
I'll assist you then. I don't think I can fail the DC 10. No.
Oh.
So I have a +2 as he'll help. His knowledge is practical, mostly with equipment and like spaceships, particularly.
Yeah.
But you know,
All right. She has a quarter of a chance here. With that then. 26. Not enough.
You don't quite figure out what this thing is supposed to do, but you do get the inkling that this is weird. Like, you don't even see any technology that is reminiscent of what you know. Like, there's no. It doesn't even use like transistors. It uses something different. Like, even the base components are completely alien.
Wow. That
Can
is.
in working with this, a culture check. I mean, if it's recovered from here, maybe I can get like an idea of where it might where something like this in the system would have originated.
Yeah. Give me a culture check.
Yeah, good idea. Take a +2.
You have no idea.
Yeah, I think he'll look at that and say, and this was recovered by Slash as something from here.
Well, he recovered it on the ship that he got this terraformer from. Well,
This does not look like ASIM technology to me.
It's definitely not Asen.
this doesn't look like anything I've ever seen, which is something quite unusual. I will need to. This will require a lot of time to decipher. But I appreciate your assistance.
Just seems to think it could be from. They could have recovered it from one of the moons. But in that case, it could be from anywhere. As far as we understand, I mean, we knew that others had some sort of technology allowing them to travel through space or just conventional travel. I mean, there have been strange wrecks there forever almost. It's just always been too dangerous to approach.
Given the Vesk's battle against the Swarm, and given this was on a Vesk ship, it might be reasonable to assume it was something they plan to use or something they plan to get rid of. In either case, it might prove useful to us if only I could just figure out what it is.
Are you guys in like a separate room or?
She's brought it back to her like
No, okay.
room/workshop. So I mean, you're free to be there if you wish.
Can you do some tests on it, perhaps? I mean, we don't really have a great facilities for it, but
She thinks for a moment and says, "I could, but I'm wary of having this. Well, first of all, I would have to figure out how to even run tests on this
could you describe it
hypothesis."
again? Like,
It looks like the framework of a small satellite. There's a lot of tech attached to it, almost bare, implying that, well, it's supposed to be used in space. It's not really supposed to be covered. And the technology is mostly, well, entirely made out of things that Lorelia can't make any sense of. Even to the base components, they're completely different. It looks as if it had some pointed end, basically. Reminiscent of a weapon, but really, Lorelia isn't entirely sure.
Yes.
how big was it?
Two washing
two
machines.
washing machines. A fairly small device.
2 washing machines, but it's pretty fair big.
Yeah, it's
It's like a person.
But if it was to be
bulky
used in
person.
space, it's quite a small
That's
thing.
true.
Yeah.
Can we? I mean, it's powered down, I assume.
Yeah,
Is there any?
I don't know. You can't tell, I guess.
If you were willing to do some experimental investigation, I would lower the DC by a bit. But the results, the consequences of failure might be a bit.
Explosive.
What's the alternative, though?
You can retry the engineering check each day.
Sure.
You can also take 20 on it if you have access to a extensive infosphere or specific network related to engineering.
We should probably not Google this contraband.
So if you take a 20, you also
What to do with
incur the
stolen
penalty
military
if you roll.
hardware?
What did you say?
So if you take a 20 though, you also
it's
incur the
failing
penalty
multiple times
from
to get it. So yeah,
from getting a nat 1.
Well, the normal identifying technology doesn't really have a consequence. That's just you thinking about it. But if you were willing to go so far as to see what happens if you push this button, then there would be consequences.
Yeah.
No, let's try to figure it out. Let's basically we split apart and we each go and like think up stuff, carrying a little notepad. Whenever we think of a good idea, we write it down quickly, and then we meet like
have
to
like
basically
a
try to
brainstorm
figure
meeting.
out new
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I like that.
Zacriel is optimistic. I mean, this could be anything. Who knows? It could be some sort of planner device. He knows that our people in ancient times is said to have come from a different place of existence. So,
Yes.
it is boundless. And the fact that Lorelia doesn't know about it, and in fact, he understands that she knows most of what's on this plane, this world. That perhaps it is something else.
Yep.
The purple collar is a little ominous, though. He doesn't remember a lot of nice
Couple things. Yeah.
Deep purple, but we'll see if we can figure out what that is.
Yeah. Well, we'll try the checks over time. Like that's something we can do later. Although
have more pressing issues.
Yeah, but just as a note for the next time, Sheep, you can have a think about it. Lorelia might try and like use her connection to try and like force herself to find some inkling of what it could be. But that's for later. I don't want to do that now.
I was gonna say, I think that was what Haya would have suggested. Like, can you tap in? Because he knows little enough, and it'd be like, can't you just ask like your?
Because there's no direct there is no direct feature that's like, oh, you can like learn stuff you don't know. But more of a I suppose fluff sense. I mean, she can access it to learn skills that she doesn't particularly know herself.
What ability are you thinking about here?
Just her connection as a mystic, like to the Akashic record. It's like just it's not really an ability. It's more of just how her powers work, and what particular her powers manifest at, which is knowledge and like divination.
It is generally assumed that that is already included in your skill check. Like you're not consciously accessing it. Maybe.
All right.
Basically, mechanically, it only gives you a bonus to things you are not skilled at.
Yeah.
So turning the fluff into like, oh, I know everything, so I should get an automatic nat 20 on every knowledge skill check. That's not how that works.
Well, that's not entirely at all what I was suggesting. I was meant more of like a nudge, but not. Yeah, I agree with you. That shouldn't be the case, though.
Yeah. It's basically
prepare an identify spell or something.
identify spell would maybe do something.
Like, I think that
Mystics don't get
You have
at that.
You get that from your connection.
That is quite true. I do get that from my connection. Don't I?
that's probably
Yes.
how it manifests.
So allows you to attempt to identify the function of a technological device. Each round, you gain a +10 insight bonus to identify the properties and command words or password.
All right.
So
Well,
basically, like we're level 6, so that would be 6 rounds of checks
sure.
with an engineering +10
And +2
to
from you.
get the properties and activations of the thing.
Now, you would be able to identify 6 different items, not the same item 6 times. That's still once per day per item. But you still have 2 days before you reach Endeavor at your current speed. So
Alright,
you could do 2 checks.
Sure. Let's do 2 checks then. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, I feel like that's something
And
that's in your purview.
These are not incredibly interesting skill checks because you're probably going to succeed eventually. But
They're interesting because I want to know.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So +10, and I'm getting the assistance of my buddy Zachariel, study buddy. So it's 12. that's
Oh.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
maybe tomorrow.
One
Yeah.
more.
Tomorrow then, which is now.
Come on, roll a 5 or higher.
Oh my
You
god!
just can't wrap your head around it. But I'll give you a tiny bit in that Lorelia's absolutely sure that this thing is weird.
Okay.
Yes.
What?
Yes,
No
sir.
way.
What's new?
I feel you, Velky.
At
I
least
know.
checking it in this way only takes like a second or 3 seconds. So,
Yeah, that's fine.
you know.
We'll check like after we finish our stuff here. Let's just do this.
Yes, I mean, this is it's very difficult, clearly. Even with an immense amount of knowledge.
At least I got these rolls out of the way in case I need to use the terraformer and end up lasering the entire like Gorons to death. So
It cannot save the planet, but it certainly can destroy it. Best modifications.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Let's go to them. I mean, I assume it's easier if we land with like a couple of us and then have a couple up there to control the terraformer.
yeah, Lorelei can like stay up to help.
Not it, because I
no,
don't know
Zach will
anything
go
about
down.
engineering.
Let's
Yeah.
have XK stay up as well.
Yeah.
Astro, you want to come down
bulwark-
with Sobok?
Yeah, that's assuming that the
I guess we've kind of had to explain to Sobok about the whole swarm ship thing.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You would not have been able to hide that.
No, he clearly took it well. though, so, you know.
Asriel probably after a day or maybe a couple hours after Sobok made his remark would be like, all right, I need to tell you something.
Let's get together here and sit you down in the hospital ship. You know.
I probably would have at least given him the thesis and answered some questions.
Before or
Like,
after you
before
meet
seeing-
Zazak?
Before seeing Slazak.
Okay.
He should know this before a swarm ship appears in firing range.
I mean,
And we meet with it. Go slash like my emperor. I am.
Everything is going according to plan.
The
my
Vesk
lord.
have been fooled.
Yeah.
We have brought you one for integration.
Uh,
That would also be an interesting campaign, though.
The
let's-
technology is ours.
let's not ridicule this too much. Because for Sobok, in-game, in-world, as Asriel explains these things, you know, he doesn't say anything. That's sort of Sobok's thing. He listens. He doesn't talk too much. But give me a sense motive.
Is a thing that I'm good at. He probably would have ended it with something along the lines of, I know this sounds ridiculous, but just wait, reserve judgment until after the item we need comes off his ship.
But he isn't a swarm.
God damn it.
Yeah, Sobok takes it with stony demeanor. Pretty much only gives Azure a nod as he's finished. And yeah, he just carries on maintaining the bulwark and such. There's still loads of work to be done. It's constantly falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's.
I assume it's kind of old hat, like it's very tiring work. We like by this point we've floundered enough that we know like when both of us have to go over and lift that giant cable, and then you go to this thing and I turn off this panel because it interferes with the other thing, and it's become old hat by now. Even though it sucks.
Yeah, you've certainly been on that ship for, well, a few days at least. And so Endeavor approaches. And you want to have a couple of you land at the others set up the satellite.
Yeah.
What a weird trio of ships. It's great.
You know, it symbolizes everything right about the Empire. Diversity, working together, using the skills and strength of all to do something neither could do alone.
Which ship do you use to land on the surface, and where do you land? Roughly.
In the bulwark, probably.
Yeah,
Around where we
should use the bulwark.
Around where we left, really.
So pretty much directly next to where the other vessel is supposed to be.
Yeah, ideally.
We should wait until, at least it looks like, until Aurelia and XK give us the nod. Like, yeah, we're good from this point.
I don't know. I mean, we don't want to deploy it and have it be the wrong place. So.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Exactly.
them where they want it. Yeah.
At the spot where we met last time.
Can drive.
Yeah, Ezra probably wasn't planning on coming along, but when you ask him, he kind of is like, yeah.
I also want to bring Sobok, you know?
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. He's like, I probably should. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Copy your tokens if you like, or whoever is coming down.
Endeavor.
Endeavor, indeed.
This lovely place.
You set down the big bellied bulwark to where you retrieved it from last time. You do notice that the Zazak shuttle, which he initially used to fly about before, becoming a spaceship, isn't there anymore. But it's still an okay spot to land. You would have severe troubles, of course, landing the Medicus anywhere near here. There are, of course, areas of the planet that are far more barren than the comparatively lush forests here. But that would be quite a walk. Do you just turn on the satellite right away, or do you wait for something?
I'm gonna wait for the signal that it's okay to do so. I don't know if they want to have it exactly where we met them, so just ask them, and then
I guess we can do some recon.
I mean, it's also up to you guys. That's my opinion. I mean, if you want to turn on, I will.
Well, in terms of recon, what you notice immediately after landing is that the cage, as it were, is empty.
God damn it. How does Sobok react to that?
With perhaps a frown, which for him says a lot. Should grab this token.
Perhaps we should have him light up the place to grab the Goron's attention.
You're just small.
Oh yeah, very small.
Ah, there we go.
That looks right.
As you are waiting, looking around on Endeavor, you can once again smell the smells of rotten wood, of a wet air, of stingy wet air, really. Like a wet, dusty smell. The sounds of wind not exactly ruffling through leaves, but more like making making ill trees creak ominously. The ground feels actually not that wet. It's less wet than last time, a bit sturdier. Presumably because the second water is soon to arrive, which of course is the driest situation you will ever get on Endeavor. But there's still this squishing sound as you move about. It's just slightly less pronounced.
Great.
Walk out, see if there's anyone in the cage.
The cage is empty.
Yeah, well, they were moved to a different place.
Can we yeah.
Where was the
probably just let it
tree?
out.
Like, there was a tree that they came from last time. Like,
It's not far from this exact spot. They were very far up to the point where it was pretty difficult to see them.
I don't think they hang out in the same tree all over, though.
hmm.
No, let's kick up the satellite.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Place it over this place, and then.
How easy is it to move once you turn it on? Cheap.
It's a satellite. It's not anchored. You can just sort of push it into a different orbit. It's fairly easy.
Once she gets the go ahead, she'll fire it on.
Yeah, let's begin scrubbing the atmosphere here.
It does take a few moments to take effect, as its solar panels unfold, bathing into the sunlight. After which, perhaps you expect a giant laser to descend upon the surface, but it's more like a gradual disappearing of clouds in a roughly cylindrical area. It's subtle at first, but more and more you can see a circular spot appearing in the fog and cloud surface of the cloud sky. And after minutes, 30 minutes, maybe a bit longer, you can see the first specks of actual sunlight. The little circle that is the sun shining through clouds, intensifying slowly and ever so slowly.
Haya will
Timed it
stand,
perfectly.
like, lifting his hands and, like, touching the freckles, like, marveling over this thing. So much has happened that he had almost forgotten that this is one of the reasons that they were here, that they could finally do something.
We'll look to here and look to the light and smile, because even if no one here sees it, this planet has just gotten a slight bit like this thing will stay here. And though it might take it like 10 million years to do any more than it's doing, I mean, it's doing something. It might well be the only one in the orbit of the planet.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is.
it currently definitely is.
And it's working. And in a way, it's us here doing something, small as it is, but it's something. It's a beginning.
This is incredible.
Yeah, in a little
Just that it all worked.
that little cylindrical area, it's almost like a sunny summer day suddenly. Even if the smell of rotting wood doesn't disappear from it.
We haven't paid for it yet, but it is nice.
I'm gonna look to Zobak. He seems a little bit like.
Yeah, Sobok doesn't seem as excited as you are. You can see him glance over to the cage, and while he perhaps intentionally standing some distance away, A bit of a growl coming from him.
Yeah.
Shortly after,
Understandable.
however, as the sun touches the ground, you don't really need to look too hard, really, as you can see once again figures up in the trees, looking around. And while you can't make out any words as far up as they are, they, you can guess.
Sacriel will take off his power armored helmet so they can see who he is, and he'll like shake his hair in the and just enjoy the sunlight, right? Looking up at it, allowing it to glimmer on him as he looks around, letting himself be seen, letting here be seen.
And after a few moments, you hear the same sort of grating female voice that you've had address you last time speak up again, as she says, "When you were here last time, I spoke in anger. I saw you spread fire and fight the insectile creatures that managed to pierce the clouds. I'd forgotten all the years that the Asens have fought for our home, even if we did not appreciate their methods, nor even if they refused to understand the true nature of the planet's wound. You are naive, but I believe that your intentions are noble, as you say. I would want to welcome you, even your machine, if he is here, to be welcomed into what remains of our home up in the trees. Let us speak. One of ours travels with you. I would like to speak with him especially."
Sacriel will look relieved and give a bow and says, "Yes, I will. On behalf of all of us, I will accept such a gracious extension of hospitality. It'll be just a moment. We will get the others. They have been above working to make the machine function. We should all be here. What we have to talk about. Thank you."
You can hear Sobok bark over to you in Vesk as you're currently speaking Goran. "Where are they? What did they say?"
It's all right. It's all right, Sobak.
"Is it? Where are they?"
They're being gracious, but you're right. Hang on. Let me ask. Go ahead, Manny.
No, I was just gonna have Sacriel ask it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I should expect this. Our companion, he gestures back to Sobok, is worried about his compatriots. He fears for them. Is it possible that we could unite them again?
His compatriots have proven to be honorable guests. We did promise to keep them safe of one flood, and we did. They are up here.
Excellent. I would expect a Sobok. We have been invited to accept their hospitality. They state that they have done everything they could to make the stay of our mutual friends as nice as possible. They also called them honorable guests. I think this has turned out better than we could have hoped for. We'll go get the others, then we will go see them.
Sobok growls slightly, mumbling just loud enough for Zachary to hear, probably intentionally. You never know what these primitives do.
So, says, do not pass your judgment before you speak to your captain, at least. You stayed with them for longer than any of us.
Not by choice. Partly by choice, I suppose. They could have likely escaped at any point if they had tried, although perhaps not all of them. I expect they didn't do it because of you. You saved us well, once before, now twice. Still a debt to be paid from the first time. Grumbles a bit.
You've waited long enough, but soon we will all be reunited. But let us grab the others, and we
I'll
can
go
all
get
stand
them.
together.
You all can just
I'll
wait
s-
here. It's fine. I can fly the ship. And I'll go get XK and Lorelia.
She'd probably look a bit anxious. Not really knowing what's going on. But once you explain, she smiles and says, "Ah, good. Let us not waste any time." She will prefer to go.
Could you ask Slaslak to just guard the machine in our ship while he's up there?
She will graciously ask him, yes, if it would be okay if he could.
Oh yeah, you'll do that.
Wonderful. She appreciates that a lot.
Wouldn't want anyone to run away with our ship again.
No.
We're stuck here.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, your ship is capable of guarding itself, although the bulwark is not, I suppose.
Take the bulwark back down.
Then with all of us here, I imagine we'll go with the Gorons.
Yep.
Yeah, what is lowered from far up above is pretty much a square wooden platform attached to 4 vines, an elevator of a sort, perhaps, that you are presumably asked to step on. No Gorons actually follow the elevator back down to help you up. It seems they very much prefer the trees.
Yeah, we'll go up.
Yep.
Yeah.
We know that those are monsters down here, so.
And as you go up further and further, the site, well, of course, I have big troubles finding the exact representations of what I imagine places to be. I still found a picture that's sort of close, so I'm just going to show that over here. Oh, my
cool.
recording is still the space map. Go here.
Uh-oh.
It is a city in the massive trees canopy that presumably once reached over many different trees in many different directions. However, there's holes where once trees might have once been, but are no longer. The buildings are scattered about, as you can see in the picture here, most of them built from just wooden planks. However, much of the city also looks like the tree grew as if to accommodate these buildings. Some rooms even inside the tree itself, and they don't look chiseled out, they look like, well, there was suddenly a hole in the tree. It's actually a rather large community as you slowly ascend the elevator. You can see dozens upon dozens of houses spreading some distance, although some houses perhaps abandoned, perhaps recently, and looking at the tree, perhaps that was a wise decision. Who knows how long they will stay upright still. You would estimate perhaps 200, 300 individuals in total.
Alright.
And up at the top, you are greeted by a good chunk of them.
Thing is, we could make sunlight, like we could move the satellite to this place. To the tree.
That's
To nurture
true.
both them and their home.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's just drag all these tokens. Let's grab all of you as well, who are spread out all over the place. The individuals greeting you appear to be led by almost a child-sized Gorin, although both her demeanor, her as well as her wrinkled appearance, suggest that she is hardly a child. The Gorons behind her aren't equipped with much. They have some sort of rudimentary clothing and are armed with bows, although one of them is an exception, wearing the same armor as the others. However, he seems to have a pistol of some sort at his side. Behind them, you can make out, the expected prisoners. They don't seem to be imprisoned, but they do seem to have their hands bound with vines. As they approach you, the smallest of the Gorons, their leader, stepping forward, returning the same bow that you've...
Oh my god, she's tiny. Sorry.
She is tiny. Well, small, yeah. Returning the same bow that you've given them on the ground below, she says, "My name is Shara. Welcome to our home."
Equitable. Yeah. It is a pleasure to be welcomed in your home, Shara. I am Sacriel. This is here, Asriel, XK, Lorelia, and Sobak. She gestures to each of them.
She'll bow.
She nods at each of them. Also, I forgot to reveal 3 individuals that may or not be interesting. Among the Gorons are 3. Well, the best description would be 2-legged reptiles that are not Vesk, with pale, almost albino skin. They are best described as, albino raptors, really, covered in part in iridescent green feathers and wearing harnesses and saddles.
Fighting raptors.
Nice.
Do they appear by their behavior to be intelligent? Conscious?
How would you tell?
By knowing what they are. Does
Life
Lorelei know what they are?
Yeah, life science. Higher,
Alright.
you can get a +5. In fact, even looking at them, higher, you feel an odd sensation of excitement. Perhaps not excitement,
30?
perhaps a bit of fear involved as well. You, not yourself, perhaps remember ever meeting these creatures, but there's something in your past life that certainly has. And seeing them here is a bit unsettling, as these creatures are native to Endeavor. They are, as you can see by their tokens, Xenethans. They are albino raptors that usually live underground. They are predators of the cunning type. They are not the largest by far. You've seen larger already. But they are pack predators with unprecedented intellect. Also noteworthy of them, where Haya and her kind might be associated with the sun, these are not exactly the opposite, not associated with darkness, but they are the flip side of the Solarian coin, almost. They enjoy the underground, they enjoy the planet's core and its influence, the gravity part of the Solarian. Whether or not they are intelligent, Haya is pretty sure that they are. They don't have a society or civilization as expansive or as extensive as other people, but they sort of have something like it.
They relay this information to the others.
They have rudimentary speech. They don't build buildings or live in houses, but they do have communities.
Some of them wear saddles now. So, all right. Well, Sacriel wouldn't really know that this is new, but yeah.
But yeah, Haya would definitely realize that this is unprecedented because these things love to hunt Gorons.
Yeah. What were they called, sheep?
The Zenithans.
Sinethans. Oh, I see.
You have your mouse over it, it has the name.
Yeah. They will like frown a little bit, like. Excuse me, Shara. I see that you have Sinethans with you. Have you managed to tame them? Or make alliances with them?
She returns a small smile. I see you know some of the creatures living on this planet. It is true the Zenithans are predators, and some of us, used to be their prey. Things have changed. We are all victims of the planet's downfall. The Zenithans live in caves that no longer exist. The dirt eroded by the waters, the roots that kept them up previously rotting away. You are present in one of the, well, areas of the planet that is still most alive, yet other places here, even the dirt itself washed away, leaving only rock. The Zenithans had nowhere to live. It is a strange alliance, to be sure. However, these are also desperate times.
Man, it warms Sacriel's heart to hear that they're finding a way to turn some of the negative that's happening to them into positive rather than annihilating each other for resources or something.
I will slowly nod.
Flowborn could learn something from them.
Although I do have to admit that this alliance isn't entirely just us helping them. But perhaps we should talk somewhere more private.
Yes, of course. Of course. He smiles. Would it be possible for our friend Sobok to be reunited with his fellows? I'm sure they've much to talk about. They've been apart for quite long.
She waves a hand, and the vines on the Vesk's hands, binding them, just fall apart. The Vesk sort of not entirely sure how to act in general, so they don't really do anything, but Sobok does. He pretty much barrels past Shara here.
Aww.
Sacriel will try to catch Fergar's sort of eyes during this,
Yeah.
can do like a sense motive, maybe like if there's like a to see basically if Sobok tries to relay that they've been treated badly or Sacriel doesn't think so. But
Okay, give me. Although I would think a perception would actually be more appropriate. Yeah.
I'm better at that, so I'm okay.
Sense motive is more like trying to see past lies.
Yeah. Ooh, it's a good roll.
As far as you can tell, they definitely look worse for wear. They have perhaps lost a few pounds. But as far as you could tell, not mistreated. They seem healthy enough.
This place probably doesn't have a lot of like Vesk prime rib or whatever they eat.
This place presumably has no food at all that the Gorons need, although the Zenithans are
Have some
certainly
sunlight
omnivores.
and some fresh water. You're like, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that seems good. Then let us speak. He'll try to give Fergal like a respectful nod for his. He knows we've been gone for a long time, and there's probably times where Fergal has considered what happens if we don't show up.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a ship.
He's a bit hard to read from a distance, but you get the idea that, he'll talk with you later. You seem busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Put the Vesk down there. As she...
Hopefully they can be taken to a place where they'll be, looked after a bit more.
They've been here long enough. I think they can. I think they can deal with just staying here for like a little bit longer before we go back to the ship.
Yeah.
Their lives were saved.
She walks off towards one of the buildings currently empty, perhaps expecting you to follow.
They'll follow.
Yeah.
Giving a smile to the Gorans and the Senethans as we pass them. Raising a hand in greeting. It's a sign of peace. Perhaps feeling a bit strange, almost like, his people in the past came to this world to fix it effectively, and he's not sure how to feel about now, so many generations after, doing the same thing.
Yeah, one of the Gorans returns the gesture, the wave. The others, not so much. They seem a bit more reserved, whereas the Zenithan don't seem to have a concept of what a wave is.
Oh. Come, my friends. We shall be welcome.
Just for bookkeeping's sake, put you over here. The building she leads you into is somewhat barren, although it seems to be one of the houses in the best condition. You do notice that as you walk across these planks, XK especially, the wood bending ever so slightly, the same squishing sound that is present down at the bottom. The wetness in the planet seems to be ever present, and well, that doesn't bode well for wooden structures in general. But somehow it holds your weight, despite looking a bit too frail to do so.
You look at it and be like, is the wood imbued with druid magic? Seems very sturdy.
As Shara's walking ahead, you can see her head bob slightly without turning around, gesturing for you to enter the room, before she continues and says, "Yes, we try what we can communing with the planets and the trees, and, well, it helps. However, it is not a permanent solution. Living
No,
on the
it's
ground
tricky.
is obviously not an option, and neither is living underground. Well, you could ask the Zenithans, although they wouldn't understand you."
You've seen the sunlight we've been able to create here. Would it be helpful to you? We can move it slightly. It could be moved to be positioned above this place. Should be able to grant the tree the light it needs to live.
If you
Hopefully
could, that
strengthen
would
all
be
of you.
a great help. It would dry the wood, it would feed the tree and us, and it would be a beacon for any other Gorans on the planet.
Then we shall make sure to do so. He'll
We can
look at
correct
it
the
like
satellite on the way out.
mark the coordinates.
Pin
Yeah.
the location.
Could probably do now, even.
From just have the ship do it.
Yeah, it's an AI on the ship. I'm sure it can do fairly
That's
simple
true.
things.
It can
Aren't you?
bump the satellite.
I
Would that
mean,
be possible?
we also have
Shekik and Ruru.
yeah, Lorelia can speak Shirin, so she could ask them if he could move them, move it in place.
Yeah, that probably works better. The hospital ship lacks arms to
Yeah.
manipulate things.
Side arms. A swarm of little droids it can send out.
Yep.
All right.
She'll have that
yeah.
conversation.
One day.
So, yeah, in like an hour or two, the sky here will begin to clear up.
She smiled quite genuinely, really, before turning to Haya specifically, as she says, "What is your name, child?"
People call me Haya.
And how much have you been on Endeavor?
I have only been here recently, in my present form, I should say. Right before, like, look to the others, like, a couple of days before we made your acquaintance last time.
And also that, I suppose you are more of a child of the stars than a child of Endeavor. But you are a child of Endeavor in some part still. Your past use, your essence comes from here, certainly. Yet, I think you lack the connection to this place.
I was hoping to refind it here. I have felt lost a bit so far from a home that I have never known from other things than picture books of the Viatoran Reach. It saddens me to see the planet in this state, as I probably made it clear last time.
Perhaps all hope is not yet lost.
Yes. I think so.
The issue, however, is an old issue, one that was even brought up with the Masons, the Viatoran Reach back then. They developed these great, extensive plans to save the planet, which did much good, certainly. However, you have to understand that we Gorans here, we have always been considered, how would you put it, hermits in a sense. We didn't quite adapt to the life that the Asons wanted to give us, the outposts, the cities and villages they helped to construct, the technological wonders they provided, all those things. I personally, and most of those who live here, decided that it wasn't for us and opted out, so to speak. Which is also the main reason why we are still here on this planet. All the cities, villages, outposts, all those that were connected between each other, that were perhaps registered even. I don't know if that's the case. The Vesk went and took everyone, really. They called it an evacuation, but it was a kidnapping, truly. Whether the Gorans wanted to leave or not, they were taken and forced to abandon this planet. We are still here. Although our intention was not to... Well, perhaps some of our intention was to desperately still try to save what we can. But mostly we've accepted that we are part of Endeavor, so if the world dies, so will we. But perhaps that does not have to be the case. There is a potential way to help the planet, however. As you've said, you do not have the connection to the planet. I, whether you believe me or not, believe that it is essential that you do. You see, the planet has a body and a soul, so to speak. Not exactly, of course, but it is a good analogy without getting into detail. You can feel the truth of it. And at this point, both are hurt. Both need to be healed. Either one will not suffice. Your machines in the sky may be able to help its body, but now that the Vesk have come and gone, I believe that its soul is getting ever worse. Because I believe that they are currently forces exploiting the calamity, exploiting the wound. They've caged the soul to further harvest the body. I have no proof of this. I feel the truth of it, however. There's just nothing Ascorant can do. The way to the wound is not only full of dangers, it is impossible for a Goran to get there without losing our minds, without being twisted into something by the air itself.
The mold?
Whether it is mold or a evil presence, I cannot say, but it could be described as mold. It is not a rot of the wood, it is a rot of the mind. Perhaps it is connected to what the planet is experiencing, but I cannot tell. Which is part of the reason why I managed to convince our people to allow some of the Zenithans to stay. They are not affected by this mold.
So they can travel there.
They can travel there. They have traveled there before. Not the entire way to the wound, but close enough. We are still at an impasse. A Goran with a connection to the planet has to reach the wound, but none of us can.
To your mind. How do you think I could be reconnected? I have been away from so long. As I said, I feel like it is not my own entirely, the longing from this place. It's very different from my memories, what they describe.
It is very different indeed, and even if we are successful in this, it will never be the same.
Still, he like looks around like something must be done.
I have decided to keep no secrets from you, however, I need to keep secrets from my people. I believe that there is a way to heal the planet's soul, perhaps with some help even its body. However, it has been tormented. I believe the planet could recover, however, nothing on it would survive the transition. A restart, perhaps, a shedding of old wounds and scars. Yet we are on its skin. I'm faced with the decision of dying with the planet or dying and killing everything on it, in an attempt which may or may not work to undo the calamity. I've brought the same suggestion to the Asons before us, before you, the Reach. I've brought the same suggestion to my elders, and I've been called mad every time, so make of it what you will.
how do we get to this wound? Maybe if we know more, maybe we can find an alternative.
He nods. It is important that you do not use your vessel to fly there. Cannot tell you why exactly it is. You have to feel with the planet to make a change. The Zenithans could lead you. You would be in grave danger, however, I think your equipment might be enough to stave off the mold. I cannot be entirely certain. You have lived in the emptiness of space more than you have on Endeavor. I think you would be well suited to try to not be infected by Endeavor's air.
You can see him struggle for a second as he looks to Sacriel. Sacriel, you are my commander, my leader, and my friend. I want to go there, but I cannot guarantee that I'll be able to come back. What should I do?
She'll shake his head. Yeah. If you go, I think I can speak for everyone when I say that we will go. If there are indeed things here that have been corrupted and turned against everyone, then we can help you protect you as you make this journey.
Can they go as well? Like, look to.
She nods. You will need all the help you can manage to accrue. The Zenithans will follow you, but they are few. We cannot. You cannot expect to find help on the way, nor can we. It is difficult to explain, but if you were to take your vessels, you would find nothing.
You must walk. What would a wound like this look like?
It is the crater left behind by the calamity. You will have to travel out of the forest into the swamps, into the badlands where even the dirt has been washed away by the ever-present tide. And then you will see it. It is difficult to miss.
And there, here, we'll find a connection.
The connection will be found along the way. Or perhaps not. It is hard to be precise in these things.
I must try.
To save the planet, yes. And to save the people on it.
Yes, I do not think that as much as I love this planet, wiping all living creatures here seems. What is a planet without the ecosystem? We are part of it as well, as you said. The Gorans here are tenders of nature. I think even if we reset it, there's a big chance that it would still not be as it was.
Oh, don't worry about restoring Endeavor to what it was. That will never be successful. Worry about making it something worth living on, whether it is us or others.
There doesn't have to be an either or. We could and forgive my choice of words. We could use our ships as an evacuation point, get as many people as we can off the planet before healing the wound, keep you safe, and then you could return once the ecosystem is habitable.
I think they would want to.
Haya shakes his head already, like, no. What kind of
So that
tenets
they're
of
all
nature
in-
would choose themselves over every animal here? A lot of them have been corrupted, surely, but
It sounds like they'd all be in danger from fixing this wound. I don't understand it, so forgive me if I'm misunderstanding. But
You are correct. You are also correct that many of us would not want to leave.
So if we go do this now, it could kill the planet?
It would heal the planet by killing it.
it would kill us. It would kill living things on it. Sounds like.
It would not be instant. You could have your vessel pick you up once you're done. Only the way there has to be done on foot.
It
I
would be
don't know exactly how it would work or if it worked, but something in me knows that it will. Most of us would want to stay. However, there's another strong desire many of us have.
Which is?
The Vesk have kidnapped our people. It is time to find them again.
You believe there is no way to heal the planet, to restore it to what it was without something so drastic?
The Vesk have done much, much bad. Whatever the Reach, whatever your ancestors tried to do on this planet, they've not only undone, they've thrown away. The planet flinched back into what it was and worse. Even if you were to restart with many more of your machine in the sky, it would take a miracle for it to do anything before everything was dead. I am not saying it is not possible that something could be done, but
We may have a lead on doing something just like that.
You do?
I think it's important that you have this knowledge position about what to do. We haven't laid eyes on it ourselves, but sort of looks over to Zachriel if he wants to take over at the ship on Detritus, the Solar Ascendant. It was created for purposes just like that, and we've heard rumors that it still stands.
Even she looks back to her. This might be something you would expect of an Aeson to say, but I would not want to doom the many on this planet without each of them having the choice of whether to accept such a fate or not. I could not take such a choice away from them.
Ezreal nods emphatically.
However, if I understood more what we would find at this wound, perhaps we could go there and mitigate it, do something to repair it, or delay it, win us more time. Beyond that, I'm sure, it looks to here, perhaps my companion could have a better understanding of the situation if you undertook such a journey. I would hate for it to be in vain.
In the grand scheme of this planet's life, time is not of the essence. It will die for many years yet.
All right.
You will not be forced to act once you reach the wound, but I do not know if you will get a second choice, a second chance.
Hey,
Looks to here.
Haya's like aura has been like ever since they started talking about the further corruption of the planet has been like flickering a little bit. Like,
Hmm.
It seems then that there will be not. How long do you imagine this journey will take us on foot?
She frowns. Usually the danger would be to get lost, but I am confident in the Zenithan's abilities. A month, perhaps? Maybe less.
Jesus.
Right.
Finding your connection to a planet, to your home, cannot be rushed. Even if the way were shorter, it might not be enough then. You have to experience its plight, its pain.
Does really not sound like a fun time.
Aurelia,
No.
Oh, God. Then again, he looks here. I mean, if this is truly the only chance,
What were you going to say, Bunky?
don't worry about it.
if this is the only chance to try to do something, even if you don't know what it is, to do nothing is to make a choice. You've kept this a secret from your people. What do you think they would do if they knew?
I honestly don't know. As I've said before, I do not want to give them false hope.
Which option would give them hope? Restarting or not?
One is to accept your demise, the other is to accept that your demise is connected to a revival. One is pure death, the other is death and life. For me, the choice is simple, but I cannot speak for everyone.
You said you wanted to find your people. Perhaps I do not understand these matters, but I know you're part of this world, and perhaps their return would do some to heal the planet's soul.
It has done much to damage it, that is for sure, but you would simply condemn more of us to slowly die. Perhaps slower than before, but we still would.
He sort of looks to you. I understand that when you perish, you're not entirely gone from this world. Would that be part of the regrowth? Or would your forms forever be lost?
It is uncertain. We would be, I expect, judged. It is then a question whether our world itself considers us a boon or a plight.
He nods. He looks to here. I'm a foreigner. My mind goes to machines in the skies, technology, what we were given as our gift. I suppose the Gorans were given their own. One that my people perhaps have never truly understood.
well, we will have to act, I suppose. I don't know what I will do.
As I understand it, the journey is to teach you what you must do.
Yes. But there's a day that we will be judged. I would think that the planet will, whatever it is, look at what we have done. I don't think sitting idly by will speak to our favor, I should say.
Who knows? Looks to the others. A month is a long time. Well, it truly isn't, but we are busy. Truly, it is almost no time, but we have not been able to stop the Vesk. We have done what we could, and I would say lighting sunlight upon a city on Endeavor's surface is truly one of the most marvelous things we have accomplished.
It's also one that draws much attention.
I think this might be a journey from which we could return stronger. Even if we do not, in the end, make the choice that is offered to us at the end of such a journey, perhaps we would learn something, find something, discover more of the plight that actually harrows this world. And if we could return with good news, having the Goran's support in dealing with the Vesk, in finding their lost family, that would be invaluable. There are other places we could go. We could go out amongst the stars, perhaps investigate Lodestone. We have vague ideas, perhaps, that we could do something to stop the Dreadnought around Tritus. But this is a chance it seems we will get only once. Soon it will be too late.
I will look to Lorelia and I will say, you have much knowledge that much more knowledge than one person usually would have. We might need your intelligence here more than ever if there's a solution to this problem.
Lorelia will actually walk up to Hia and take his hands in hers and says, this is not a decision that can be lightly taken. However, when you decide to take that step, you will always have my assistance. I am one that has maybe not similar, but a connection to something. I understand what Shara is trying to say, and perhaps I believe her more than most of us here would, because I have the experience, but your journey is yours alone, and I cannot tell you whether or not to take it. However, if there are any measures I can do to help before you decide, then yes, I will do everything that I can. This is a big decision. There is a lot to think about. For now, I would suggest that take some time to digest what we've been told.
Yes.
You will not. Yes, you're like squeeze her hand like yes, you're right. Thank you.
Of course.
He'll look to Shara and he'll. Is there any way that I could make myself acquainted with our allies here? We'll be bringing them into danger. I'd like to. He like looks to Zachariah like he's not usual the one to do the peacemongering. Show my respect to them.
Mean to the Zenithans?
Yes.
I have to admit their way of life is hard to grasp for us. I would try food, perhaps.
Ah. So much like other beings.
Zachariah smiles as the
Other than
satellite is
us.
slowly cleaning the sky to allow sunlight as a gift to the Gorans.
I mean no offense to them when I say that they are simple creatures. Or perhaps their intricacies are just hidden to me. They too are part of this planet. I do not know how much they will understand your quest exactly, but I suspect they will do whatever they can, knowing that you're helping them.
Then perhaps this is a lot to think about. Perhaps we should return or retreat to our ship with our companions. They have been separated for us for a long time. I'm sure they would look forward to having something to eat and catch up.
I have attempted to provide them with enough, although I have to admit that we are short on food.
Yes, it is well understood. In the meantime, you should have. Sort of looks around, an evening of relatively clean sunlight, and perhaps, if you would be so kind, invite your people to see sunrise. Say, as a gift.
She smiled broadly at that, saying,
It is the little we can do. We will return tomorrow to speak again, having considered things.
take all the time you need. This, as much as I would love to pressure you to act immediately, to do whatever you can, the truth of the matter is that the planet will be dying for many years yet. A day, a week, a month, a year will not make a difference.
That is good to know. Hopefully, what we've done so far can help to ease what pain you feel until we can do more.
Might stop this tree from collapsing, which would be a novel idea.
She'll gives her bow, and I think you would want to take ourselves and the Vesk back to the ship. To maybe here would want to stay, but then again,
Yeah, I think he would. If
he can return to us a little later, perhaps taking more time.
yeah,
Particularly, Zachariah though wants to speak to Fergar, and ideally also have Lorelia and him take an extra look at that device. He doesn't know what's plaguing this planet, but if there's anything that thing can do to help, knowing what the hell it is would be great. It would feel stupid going for like a month into the dead, horrible place, and then finding like another one, and then going, oh,
Oh, by the way,
what is this?
Yeah, sure.
When they're put together from space, they fix each other. Like, oh, okay, great.
Is that something we can try now? Sheep,
It
or we
was.
have to wait a bit?
Well, first of all, you're sort of traveling to the ship, grabbing Forga, having him follow you. He will sort of, not exactly subtly, shuffle himself to be next to Zachriel and your group in general, before being like, so, as it turns out, the natives here have treated us reasonably well. You see, we tried to explain to them the dangers of the swarm who they thought were helping them. Turns out one of the Gorons spoke passable Vesk. Seemed a bit different to the others, however. I really can't judge any of these plant people. He glances towards Haya.
No, highest with the other Gorons, so.
Yeah, that's good.
I was gonna say, it's a good thing I'm not here.
Oh, here, like Sakura will also take a look back and see here they're clad in his like power armor, bright light around him, and sort of see the other like Gorons who are more native, and he sort of, in a way, sees the contrast that Shara might have seen in the past. Like, in a way, here is sort of an Aeson Goron, if you will. Not that he has grown up on Aesa, but the armor, like the sort of slight mixing of traditional cultures has produced here as something Zachriel sees and is proud of existing. Not that he caused it, but that sort of positive mixing and combinations is something he delights in. It's something he desires more of. He wants to understand the culture here, and he wants to be able to enjoy all of it altogether.
I imagine Zachriel is like gazing towards Haya in the distance over his shoulder, while Forga is like clearing his throat.
Well, he looks over and gives like Fergus like a nod, a smile. That's perhaps he feels this was more his hospitality than he could imagine ever. Yeah, and the fact that they can do something to save a whole city with this one satellite is fantastic.
You see, I think I earned some of their trust when I explained to them exactly the dangers of the swarm that you defeated here. You see, the fact that their deception can lead to ruin in many places, that even a single ship can have devastating consequences, that their motives are alien and they are a threat to all living things.
Zachriel nods.
I've recounted to her the tales I know of the 13 planets that were devoured completely. And I've explained to her the things I have done to avoid fighting in the Vesk military, to live a relatively peaceful life, to never, ever have to encounter the swarm again. And so far, I've been very successful.
Zachriel nods and says, "It's good for God that there are people like you who understand not to underestimate a potential foe, and perhaps understands that sometimes things has to be done in a way that is not entirely Vesk, in order for things to grow in a non-Vesk manner." It's good to have you with us. We have traditional Vesk food on board, if you're interested. I heard you might have missed it.
We've been fed nothing but raw meat, which, quite frankly, is better than what I expected.
I think they must have known the danger. They clearly never approached them. If they had, well, we all know what would have happened. I think they've been hurt, but I think they were ready to believe.
No, in explaining to them what I'm sure you have, Froga, you have done us a great service, because I believe they might have grown to consider our aid more than they did before.
Certainly more
Even
receptive
stuck
than I
here,
expected.
you've proven an asset.
Mhm.
Good. I think our business relationship, as unique as it was, then concluded.
I would hate to think we could not further work together. At least for a little bit. I must say, have sadly grown accustomed to using your ship to get on and off our own. It does not really land anywhere easily.
He grumbled slightly. Hard to tell if that's angry, disappointed, or a suppressed laugh. But he doesn't really say much else.
Let's get everyone fed and rested before part ways or make any major decisions.
And then I'm sure we have much to catch up on.
How much could have happened? Almost too much. Nothing at all. Other than, he grumbles again.
Yeah. Sacrilege is catching what he's throwing, but there's a lot more revelations for them to have. I think it's going to be an interesting talk today. She looks slightly nervously to Asrael, thinking that he wants to really involve these guys entirely. Like, we have not actually worked that much together with them. What we have done has been nice. We've saved them, and he believes that he can, in the worst case, trust them not to reveal our information unduly.
Well, I don't think they will. If they want to leave,
Then so be it. But he would like. He'd like to talk to them first.
Mhm.
Yeah.
As you do see that Azrael fervor or the forward thinking drive and look of constant planning on his face. It's just not there. Pretty much silent throughout. Not silent, but he was had his arms crossed throughout most of the Goran intro, pensive as we were listening to Shara. Yeah, he's somewhere else.
So to cut it a little fast, I think.
Yep.
Basically, I'm skipping a little bit here in things of what I want to get done because I want to. Ideally, we want to know what we're doing for the next session before we end this one. So,
one thing to give you for your consideration is that I will add Forga and his people to your allies. However, there's one big consideration there.
Yeah.
It is he'll basically give you a business proposal. He is a businessman, and you get that idea. He sees an opportunity, presumably to make some money. He will agree to keep working for you. However, he requires 5% of whatever you sell, whatever you get. 5%.
Oh,
Permanent tax.
In addition, he would start, if you agree to that, at 1 loyalty. Because Zaslak, he is, you get the feeling that he is terrified of the swarm. He has gone through massive lengths to stay away from them. He is taking your word on it for now that it's as you say it is, but it'll basically mean that if Zaslak does anything he disagrees with, showing swarm tendencies, that'll lose loyalty.
That's understandable.
Hmm.
Can work on it over time.
He, however, brings some things to the table other than his ship, which honestly is trash, even if it works. He and his people they're Vesk. That is a quality in itself. They can, blend in. They are also pretty damn good fighters for what they do. They are not mercenaries, they are merchants, but they know how to defend themselves. They're on the same level as Ruru and Shekak, except they are more numerous, really. And in addition to that, they are merchants. They have connections to some of the alleys, some of the back rooms that the Veskarium has to offer, which honestly aren't that many, but they do exist, contrary to what the Veskarium wants people to believe. Like, the Veskarium in general says there is no politics, we are one mind, we disagree sometimes, but we get to the point without backroom deals, without assassins in the dark. Furga is a bit of a proof that that's not entirely true at all, really. Like, there's still greed, like, Asriel knows that he's not just saying that he knows people, he actually knows people.
I'm aware how much of that's bullshit, that there's no politics and backrooming Scarium. And I'm sure I only just scratched the surface.
And they can also man a ship, which is a quality.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm sure we can work something out with them.
But we seem to be earning very little money, so
Yeah.
all in
Barely.
all,
All in
it
all,
would have
that's
been like a
exciting,
couple
very
of, like maybe like 500 or so, like total for the whole thing. So,
So
it's okay, though.
a question then: if it's 5% of whatever, anytime we sell something, we only get 5% from it, basically.
No, they get 5%.
No. You sell the thing for 10%. So you sell an item that is worth 1,000 credits for 100. They would get 5.
Okay, sure.
It's 5% of 10%.
Yeah, that makes more sense. It's late. I'm dumb. Right.
If half of our money would
5%
be,
of all
50% of whatever you get.
Yeah. No, I,
yeah, I mean, with the stipulation, of course, that this is probably renegotiated once the Empire gets taken over. 5% of the Imperial tax, probably not.
It is assumed that whenever you are successful, the business is concluded and renegotiated, perhaps. But until then, 5%. Right now, it's little. But Furga is a bit of a fox.
investment.
Hey, I mean, if we want him on our side, we want him on our side with the idea that he wants to be there.
If there's money on the line, that's certainly a motivator.
If his success is tied to our success, that's generally a good situation to be in.
right.
I mean, yeah.
And
I
although I don't see, he's not as useful as Slaslak, who's a swarm ship, which is quite significant. But it is another ship with a crew, capable of fighting, with connections, who have a Vesk ship that's
infiltrate.
registered.
They're the only.
Yeah, like we can
they're
send
the
them to
only team we
places
have that
and
can-
get into places. I think Sacriel would say, of course, yes, he understands that they have things, and in time he knows that in time they will join us entirely with the hope of living in a beautiful new world here, where they can be free from fighting, where peace is not but a dream but reality. So with that in mind, of course.
That's nice, but I would rather we all make a decision over the week because we're not all here.
Yeah, I would say that.
I mean,
Yeah,
unless
perhaps-
3 of us agree, of course, because
Yeah, it's something to consider. You can say no, and you would still, depart as friends, but they wouldn't really want to work with you,
Of course.
considering all the, the treason and the swarm.
put him on there for now, and like
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
we're not paying any, we're not selling anything for a while we are on this planet anyway. So
I'm not expecting us to say no, but I would still like to have a think.
Yeah.
I think we have ways of. I can even
Yeah.
get them even more income. I just don't
And
feel
that's
like getting
basically
into it right
with
now.
him knowing all the things.
Yeah, at this point, I'm pretty sure you've told
So
or
how do you
shown
get
him
loyalty
everything.
with that guy?
Uh,
Matters too. If he's just gonna leave us eventually as soon as something happens he doesn't like, then
his
that's kind of bad. But
the main thing for him to gain loyalty is money. Like
Profits. Yeah.
you
bonus?
you can exchange loyalty for credits, depending on what level you are. With him, you can do the opposite.
Okay, so pay him more and he will be more loyal.
So technically, we can ask Imres and Sardeth to just wire him some money and
You could, yes.
funnel.
Losing dragon loyalty is something that's a double
No, it's only
Twice
if
as much.
it's only if it's lost through them being
Yes,
pissed at us.
spending it is not doubled. Losing it is
Right.
doubled.
But the fact that losing it in that way can be doubled is also bad. So we need to be very sure what we're spending it on.
They do have impeccable PR, which is sort of they can ignore the first two.
Yeah,
even
if
so.
it's a PR related incident, if you like crash your hospital ship into the dreadnought, that would not lose loyalty because, well, it would because the ship would be damaged, I suppose. But if there were a public incident, they can just do like, hush hush, it'll be gone. But only twice.
Did it
So
really
to
happen? Who knows?
no. To cap this off, because we need something else to think about while we're gone, sheep. Can I need another check on that thing to figure out what it is?
Yes, you can.
Please
Please
give this
succeed.
to us.
All right, identify again.
No, before we leave for so long.
Lorelia, Zachary will get together for the brainstorm.
Okay.
Can you roll a 5 or higher?
Yes,
Yes.
44.
44.
Right.
All right.
Eureka!
You've made a breakthrough. You've started at the beginning and started trying to understand this technology, and it is certainly unlike everything you have seen. And even the records themselves seem to be awfully silent on the matter. But you think you understand the purpose. It seems to be reminiscent of a drift engine, except it wouldn't transport whatever it is attached to the drift, but rather what the weapon-like protrusion is targeting. Ripping something...
Send people into the drift?
Yeah, not people perhaps, but objects in space. Lorelia thinks that this is one of many, perhaps. One wouldn't really be very effective. You would have to be right at the center of a larger thing to have any effect whatsoever. But if you had a ton of these, then you could send things that aren't supposed to be in the rift into the rift.
Oh boy, that's dangerous. I'm glad we didn't try and test that.
So you like attach them to like a moon, and then you.
A moon, a spaceship, anything in space, really.
How do we find more? I want to send a lot of things to the drift.
With
Origin is question.
Well, first of all, with a 44, Lorelia will also think that if you were to, you could basically make this into a pretty mean bomb of a sort. Like,
Okay.
if you only send part of a ship into the drift, that would be very bad for the ship.
Right, so basically like partially ripping out pieces of an object by... Yeah, it's a bit rudimentary approach, but it can be used in that way, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
As for origin and engineering, you have no idea. You understand how it works, what it can do, but not who made it.
What kind of check would that be, given the nature of what it is now?
Culture, technically?
Sure, I can definitely do culture.
Let's see, I think so at least. Recall knowledge about the culture's customs, history-related topics.
History-related topics, I guess?
Well, I guess you're just checking to see if it rings any bells.
Well,
Yeah, engineering is properties and uses. I think culture would be closest.
alright. Zachary would like to give his assistance again?
Yep.
Alright. Let's try this.
He's good enough at engineering to always be a help.
Nice.
31.
31. The closest you can recall, unfortunately, perhaps, is related to the stewards. In fact, the old Black Ops of the stewards, there were some files leaked from that, perhaps, that Aurelia stumbled upon at some point and considered, oh, neat. Which explained that there was a civilization out there, a very, very advanced one, that has a lot of weaponized technology that could be used against the Vesk, because that was all the Steward Black Ops was about back then. They called them the Jinzul, which were often spoken sort of in the area of almost mythical civilizations, like the Black Dominion, all those buzzwords that people might actually know but not really know what it is. They are sort of the boogeymen, the civilizations in the very, very depth of space, perhaps even from a different dimension. You know, think of your stereotypical science fiction film, the bad guys. That would sort of be the culture that Lorelia gets from this. It's a bit of a connection. Some of the materials used look similar as the files she may have stumbled upon. It's a far-fetched connection to say the least, but it's alien. It's out there.
Right. Okay. Well, perhaps this breakthrough is motivated by Hia's earnest desire for Lorelia to find something out, but she definitely relays all of this to her engineering buddy Zachriel. She's very excited, but at the same time, she's tempered by the fact that this is an insanely dangerous weapon, I suppose, or could be a dangerous weapon. The question is why exactly it was found where it was found in Vesk hands. Yeah.
Well, I can answer. It must have been taken from some sort of conquest, because that's specifically the angle that we used to put pressure on the government.
Yes, but the question is, what were they going to use it for? Is what I'm wondering. If they had,
I don't know.
That is
it was
the mystery.
Similar enough that it got lumped in with.
It was a trophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whether or not they knew what it is actually used for is an entirely different question.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So the deal was the like basically best says they repurpose everything for the war effort, except for sometimes the Congress will take something unique to a planet and be like, hey, look, neat, this is cool. All right, this is a trophy of mine to show this weird, interesting culture that I've claimed. So Bidu at some point must have conquered something that used this technology and thought it was unique enough to keep.
True.
And,
it might be coming from the space moon.
Yeah, you would know that trophies are usually displayed in the conquered territory they were taken from.
Right.
So he must have at least known somewhat that it was, if not a weapon, at least unique to that culture for him to keep it there, and to think that the Vesk could use it as a weapon in the war effort. But to the point where it got lumped in or mistaken enough.
Yeah. All right.
The thing we were actually going for.
Well, we are we now have possession of one of
Dreadnought damaging.
Yeah.
Oh, sheep.
Dreadnought, could you hurt that thing with it? I don't know actually. Maybe it's too big.
Give me an engineering check.
I've reduced the DC when I have engineering questions about ships.
Yeah. Go ahead.
By
Add a +2. So +7 for yourself then.
What? Oh.
I'm giving you an assist, and you have -5 DC, right? So add a +7 to Jay.
Gives me a pretty good bonus. Pretty bonus roll. If it's enough.
Zachriel doesn't know if this device exactly would do much, but he would know that you can do a lot of fun things if you get into a ship. Like, usually ships are tough from the outside, but you can mess with a lot of things if you're inside one.
Azrael goes through the data pad back to the package that Brenda gave us. I'll scroll through the files and go to Widow. Because if I remember correctly, I think that I remember something about the station where they were building all the ships. One of the main things was installing drift engines or fixing drift engines. Something to do with. Can you refresh my memory as he looks through that?
There are half-built ships that don't have drift engines yet. That's basically what you're getting. So Vesk are special in the way that they build ships by first building the hull, then they build the weapons, then they build everything else.
Of course. I mean,
so if the thing was big enough to envelop the platform, sent it into the drift and have no drift engines,
they would be stuck there. Yeah.
Why would you build a ship any other way?
Getting in there and doing that if we maybe we need more of these things, but that could be a way of just eliminating the naval shipyard.
I would assume the more we have, the further away we could get. Because I'm assuming with this one, we have to be literally right where we want to use it. So,
with a 44, does Aurelia know how big the explosive radius would be, or at least an estimate?
A single one might be enough to transport the equivalent of a house, maybe.
Oh wow!
A house?
Yeah, okay. like a 2-story Victorian era homestead. I don't know.
It's like 20 washing machines.
20, yes.
I'm sorry, that's just more visual to me right now. Thank you, Chief.
See, it is like it's. I thought, that must be a real UK thing. It's just
it's the new metric.
It's like how many washing machines is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, screw metric.
I mean, everything in the system is in feet, but I understand meters better. So what am I supposed to use?
Yeah, exactly.
Washing machines.
Washing machines.
3-ish.
Yes, but a universal
or something. That's
cubic
one
size.
But yeah, that's plenty of food for thought as we go into the next week.
They're done up so bad. We need hats of disguise. Is that a thing? Exist?
I think so.
It's probably some sort of like hologram.
First thing we ask for could do is blow up the dreadnought above. I think that might be stretching it.
You think?
Yeah. That device is good to know then that we have that. All right.
I'll look up a list of every planet that House Dahak is. Oh, yeah. See if anything.
I mean, we have it. It's it's a godsend, to be honest. Can you just take down something big by throwing power of it in a drift? Oh, if you had a meeting with that general guy, send him in there. I'll teach him. I don't know. How big of a place would it like?
20 washing machines.
Like imagine your generic house. That's roughly it. Maybe like.
Okay, well,
20
that
by
would be
20.
damaging to most complex engineering, I think.
Yes. Also, Sarah, about your question, I'm not sure if I made it clear, but Lorelia would know that the Veskarium generally displays their trophy in the system they were acquired.
Oh, so you got this somewhere here.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be something to do with Lodestone Research Station.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was probably dragged in through something. Got it from there.
I mean, we don't know why Lodestone has the effect that it does. It's never known. It was being investigated, but I mean,
it is related to the drift in being like a slight disruption and a beacon at the same time.
Suck things in.
Yeah. So maybe it's I don't know, maybe same technology, different technology, but who knows?
I don't know.
Interesting.
The research station really does.
We know planetary portals have existed on Asa before in the distant past. Maybe whatever left those also left portals to the drift, like that, or out of it.
Sheep, can we take a look at we have
That's very interesting.
Fergar's traits in the party master sheet. Just want
I will add them eventually. I didn't forgot to prepare them, but
That's
I gave you the gist of them.
yeah.
So let's briefly here before we all leave. What do we want to do? We can go on a spiritual journey to the heart of Endeavor.
Yay!
Like we've done a lot for these people now. Like they seem like pretty psyched about us. That's cool.
I will give
that much of a timeline.
I will give a caveat. We have a month on detritus, and we have a month to spend here. So I feel like we need to do this, but maybe
she was
after
nice
we sort
and
out.
said that we would just do it within a couple of years.
Yeah. So sort out detritus first, and then we have time. Well, we'll see at that point. We might have other stuff. But I agree, this needs to be done, but maybe not right now.
It doesn't seem like it's on the most line. I'm also so I as a player think it's a cool idea. I'd be down to do it, but Asriel.
I also want to know. What's the heart of the planet?
Yeah,
What's the moon? I don't know what that means.
Like doing the whole reskinning thing and just wiping out the life that's on Endeavor. That seems kind of counterproductive.
Yeah, it's a very cool story thread. As a player, yes, I would love to just do this right now because it's really cool.
Perhaps it helps. She did say a month, likely less. Like it would be maximum a month.
Yeah, but we have to destroy the dreadnought within a month.
Yeah.
At least in my mind. Otherwise, the people down there are not going to believe we are worth anything.
Yeah. In addition, doing this might gain you further support of the Gorons, which can be used on the Stratus. So
Well, I mean, it is true. Having druidic powers on detritus could be useful.
Yeah, good.
I feel like research station is probably the. If we want to find something to take out that dreadnought, if anything,
we have a thing now.
But that's you're gonna take out a house of the dreadnought size.
I guess the question would be, if you pick the right, would that amount of volume be enough?
What happens if you send half the power core to the drift? I don't know, but half a core usually isn't very stable.
You can assume it would be enough to do damage to the point where that thing would be toast for a while, at least.
Yeah.
Or if we found wherever they store those missiles, and then I don't know, mess with some power connections there. Or, I don't know. The real difficult part there is getting on there. And
I mean, it's also
it's pretty easy to get on there.
It's more dealing with the aftermath because yes, we take it out.
It's getting on there with our stuff and the thing, and then getting out of it before it fucking blows up. But this is a good thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
If we had one of those space chambers, then
I'm gonna get rid of one of the game plan because that's done.
And
same with.
I want to go to Lodestone. Lodestone is cool. I think we can find some cool shit there. I also, however, feel like that'll just have us go there, and then we'll have a month to do something there that's really cool too. And we'll end up touring every planet and go, well, maybe something on Asa can help us with that. And then I don't think we should underestimate doing something here and now. And I think it's also okay to do something because it's cool to do, and it's fun to play.
In the end, it is a game. There's consequences for actions, otherwise it wouldn't be fun. But I think doing something because it sounds fun to you as a player is very valid.
How long
that's
does
the
it
point.
To travel from Endeavor to Detritus?
3 to 4 days, not that long.
So we're on maximum time here a month, and then if it goes terribly, we'll ram that goddamn dreadnought in the face. and deal with that. Yeah, that seems great.
And with these thoughts, I'm gonna stop the recording. Assuming this recording actually worked,
Well, we'll find out soon.
See you next time.
Bye, guys. Maybe.
Oh, those people are gonna be so confused.